Seriously, this wasn't on purpose. I just decided to get some candy, and it so happens to be color rainbows.
Shout out to the rainbow. Shout out to the rainbow. Shout out to all the positive people in the world trying to make this motherfucking globe a better place. Welcome to the Fresh Produce Podcast.
Hello. Hello. Shalom.
You ready for this week's episode, bro?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. It's been two-ish years, right? No, wait, 3-ish years. 2016 has happened, so 2019
16, 17,
it'll be 3 years.
It'll be 3 years exactly when we drop this episode.
Which wasn't on purpose at
Nah.
all.
It was.
I realized it today. When did you realize it?
I was talking to my girlfriend about it when I was doing some prep for it, and I was like, "Oh my god, let me check the calendar."
Like literally to the day,
Yeah,
June 12th.
yeah, that's some universal timing. That's
And then this is not to be disrespectful or anything, but I was getting candy. You know, I eat candy, I drink a beer, and I have very bad things while
this is our ritual
that's what I do. And the candy I happen to get are little rainbows.
with sugar on them.
Lots of sugar on them.
Yeah.
Would you like one?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Love.
It's delicious. I don't know is the imagery weird that we're eating the rainbows? I don't know. Respect.
It's all about perception. Can you guys hear some sound effects?
Delicious.
Whoa, there's like an aftertaste to it.
That's love.
Yeah,
That's what's love tastes like.
it's deep inside me.
Delicious.
Well, here goes another fucked up Florida story. Rip to all my fellow Floridians that have lost someone to guns and idiots. On June 12, 2016, Omar Mateen, a 29-year-old half-ass security guard, killed 49 people and wounded 53 others in one of the deadliest mass shooting in American history. Fuckboy Mateen went inside Pulse, a gay nightclub in Orlando, Florida, and took some good people from us. The brave women and men at the Orlando Police Department shot and killed him after a 3-hour standoff. In a 911 call shortly after the shooting began, Mateen swore allegiance to the leader of the Islamic State of Iraq and the Levant, Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, and said the U.S. killing of Abu Wahib in Iraq the previous month triggered the shooting. He later told a negotiator he was out here right now because of the American-led interventions in Iraq and in Syria and that the negotiator should tell the United States to stop the bombing. The incident was deemed a terrorist attack by FBI investigators. Pulse was hosting a Latin night, and most of the victims were Hispanic. It is the deadliest incident of violence against LGBT people in U.S. history and the deadliest terrorist attack in the U.S. since the September 11 attacks in 2001. At the time, it was the deadliest mass shooting by a single shooter in U.S. history, being surpassed by the Las Vegas shooting a year later. By June 2018, the FBI had declined to classify the incident as an anti-gay hate crime, as evidence suggested that Mateen had scouted several different targets before choosing Pulse, without knowing that it was a gay nightclub.
What do you think about that?
Hold up, bro. Not knowing it was a gay nightclub?
There's so many different accounts of what exactly went down that night, okay? And we still don't know the motive because
Wait, we don't. We're saying, whoever's saying, whatever algorithm Kimberly pulled us out of is saying that he didn't know it was a gay night or a gay nightclub.
Well, that's what the FBI was saying, and that was their. I don't think the case is completely
Is
closed,
every
but
night gay night at Pulse? Is it a gay night? Is it
is
a gay
night.
club?
It was a gay nightclub, absolutely.
But like, do they have? Like, I mean, it's always all inclusive. That's why it's almost strange to call it a gay nightclub because everybody's allowed to come. But like, I'm
This
saying,
is the separation though. Even if
my question is, how do you not know?
Because when he supposedly went in there, he was on the 911 call. He was, spewing out terrorist epitaphs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He was but part of the terrorist agenda to some Muslim extremists is to get rid of gay culture, right? They don't believe in it. And also, I think a lot of people symbolize the gay revolution or the gay pride, right, comes from the Western culture. So I think Muslim extremists, to a lot of to a lot of respect, it's just about eliminating Western culture and going at symbolism, right? So I think that's why they weren't able to draw a line and say conclusively it was terrorist or it was gay. It was, it's a little bit of everything, but there's not enough conclusive evidence because some people say that he was fighting with some type of insecurities because he had some gay kind of feelings. There's some gay
Tendencies
men
or whatever.
Well, there's gay
What is
men
it?
that
What is
were
that
on those social media apps. I forget the name. There's like gay specific social media
You
apps.
talking about like
Not like Plenty of Fish
Tinder or
even-
whatever? Not Tinder, but
not
like
Tinder.
Tumblr? No, not
No.
Tumblr. Tumblr's like for something
It's
else.
it's a gay specific dating app.
Grinder.
Grinder.
Boom.
So those gay specific dating apps, there were men on there that said they seen Omar Mateen's picture there. So he was clearly building a dialogue there. It's not like Plenty of Fish or Tinder where, yeah, I'm sure you could probably find gay people on there, but it's a all
Specific.
spectrum of sexuality. You
brand.
can, and mostly I think it's heterosexual. So these gay specific apps are for gay people. What is he doing on there? According to some of these eyewitness accounts, and according to some of the gentlemen that were on the app, they said that some of the dialogue and the IMs or messages back and forth made them feel a little weird. So, but then again, Omar comes from a conservative Muslim family. There's some videos online where his father is saying the same things, kind of preaching the Muslim word, and supposedly he says that it's not his opinion about gay people, but this is God's word, and he follows God's words. That's the way that he kind of sugarcoats the fact that he doesn't like.
It's usually the way something like that is framed. I had some Jehovah's Witnesses come up to the house yesterday, and I had a conversation with them for a while about God's word and who wrote what, and I'm always trying to boil it down with cats like that. Like, just boil it down to like, okay, what are you saying to me? It's like, okay, this book here is the word of God. I'm like, okay, who wrote the Bible? God did. Okay, how did he do that? Did he do it like pen and paper? Did he do like, how did he get it onto this little book here? And then it's always like, he spoke to somebody, usually a king, weird, about what the word is or whatever, right? So, Buddy feels the same way, and his dad feel the same way.
I mean,
and it came on a piece of paper.
right.
But what I got from Jehovah Witness or whatever, when something bad happens, those people were bad. It wasn't because of God. It was because they were bad. So nowhere in, I assume, anybody's book says, stalk and murder people.
Well, it does. The thing is that depending on your personality and your perspective, because people have so much faith in these religions, they're going to use that as context to build their narrative of life.
Always.
And these books,
in all facets of like politics and law and
right,
going to freaking get your house or whatever, there's just always some sort of like construct
example, right,
or whatever you got to
they
live
can
in.
pull.
Yeah.
Well, the thing too is that it adds to your some type of security of your personality when you research, because the Bible, the Quran, the Torah, the Buddhist practices, being a sage and being a monk, all these things can be morphed like water. They're going to adapt to any situation. That's what makes these teachings so crazy, intricate, and beautiful, ugly, because you can remix them in any different ways. You know what I mean? And depending on your personality and depending on how you were raised and the people that, influenced you, you're gonna decipher these things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the crazy ones are the ones that they can like memorize the whole thing and preach to you. To a simple-minded person that maybe doesn't know so much, they're gonna fall victim to believing that stuff because these words are so powerful. And when somebody speaks it with like this security,
just like anything else, just like trying to be president or whatever. You got the way you speak and the way you kind of like present yourself. You can trick people into doing just like places at people's jobs where you obviously don't do much, but when you're in the meeting, you say the key words and it makes you sound smart but you're not doing anything. You're just talking.
That's why we need more due diligence. Like I'm definitely not pro taking guns away from people, but there needs to be, the same way we're just not giving guns to police officers until they go through intensive training. And I believe this for parenting. This goes along the same line. Motherfucker, we got to start giving bachelor's degrees in parenting. And if you want to handle a gun, then you need to go to school for 4 years. You need to go through mental evaluations. If you really want this gun, we'll give it to you. But if you're going to have to go through some
4
stuff.
years?
Yeah.
Do cops have to do that for 4 years?
Well, maybe I think it's like 18 months or whatever. But I just think
I got to be 4 years though?
Well, I think if you're going to be a parent and you're going to have, arguably teachers spend more time with our kids, right, than we do as parents. Mm-hmm. They got to go to school for 4 years to train our kids. So you don't think that parents and things like weapons, you know what I mean?
No, I'm not. I just think 4 years is a bit long. I don't think it's very practical.
But it would second guess people. Like, if you really want this gun, you want to carry this gun, you want to keep it at home, you want to bear arms, well, it's going to cost you 4 years of a discipline. We need to know you're mentally capable. We need to know that you can fire this weapon, that you're not just going to pick off innocent bystanders when you, and, these are.
Yeah, but if cops, anyway.
If
cops get 18 months.
What's a driver's license? It's a privilege, right?
Yeah, you got that year.
I think you should have the same thing with fire weapons.
Yeah, I mean
with
firearms, a year, 18 months or something like that, or
maybe. I mean,
4
let's say
years isn't especially to be a parent. Because if you're 23 or if you're 33 and you're thinking about being a parent, 4 years is a long time, man.
Yeah, but you're going to produce a better human being. You're going to be better.
Not necessarily.
Equipped. I mean, okay, there's always a variable, but at least you'll be better equipped mentally with, it's, you can't become a teacher unless you have a 4-year degree. Because why? Because you applied yourself to something, we talked about this in the doctor's playing doctor. It was the first episode. Mm-hmm. And you were saying something that rang true to me. Like, school is not a punishment. Mm-hmm. School is a privilege, Mm-hmm. And when you treat something like that, you're going to have respect for it. Mm-hmm. You're going to have better training. And this might prevent assholes like Mateen.
No, I think it definitely would. I agree with you that there should be something like that. But I guess I just disagree with, like, the length of time.
4 years?
I don't, because you haven't done anything wrong thus yet. The length of things, I think, should equate to, so like if what's the dude's name again?
Omar Mateen?
Dr. Love. No, Dr. Love.
Yeah,
he did something wrong.
Yeah.
So because he did something wrong, his rehabilitation or his schooling or whatever should be longer.
Yeah.
Than somebody who's a nice lady who's a teacher and just wants to have a baby, but she still needs to take class. But she's fine, and if she's not fine, that something like that I think could be seen before a 4-year period.
You think so? You think you can figure that? That's what I was about to ask you.
Yeah, for sure. But I'm obviously not a professional. But yeah,
I don't think so, man.
You'll be able to see a lot of signs and whatever.
People are manipulators, bro.
Yeah, well, before a year and a half, I don't know. That's a long time to be able to. And if you did, then I don't know. I don't know the first thing about psychoanalysis or any shit like that, but I think if you can't figure out in a year and a half if somebody has problems, then you're not very good at your job.
I don't think 18 months is enough
time
to.
I have no idea.
Not Neither just like mental evaluation, but just like conduct with a weapon. You know what I mean? Conduct with understanding like where what your boundaries are, understanding target practice, like all these things.
How
like,
long is a year and a half in like hours?
a lot.
Do we know?
A lot.
A year and a half in hours.
So how many hours are in a year?
8,760 in 1 year.
So
now,
add
in a year and a
another
half,
4,000 to that.
so 12, 13,000 hours. Say if you do something for 10,000 hours, you'll be an expert at it. So if they fake like they are
Yeah, but you're not going to go to
rational
school 24 hours a day.
if you're going to go rational, but you got to be like that if we're going to be up in your shit. You can't post on Facebook weird. You literally can't be that person if we're talking about doing this training or whatever. If you fake it for that long, especially 12,000 hours, I think you'll even be a better person, even if you're about to go shoot up somebody. You know what I mean? Just by doing it, just by going through the motions. If I put my hands up in the air like this for 2 minutes and I smile, then my brain tells the rest of my body, starts sending signals that I should be happy. This is research. People have.
Yeah, no, I believe you.
I should be happy, even if I'm really not. So if I'm faking, I don't know. I think it's enough, but I'm no expert, so I may be wrong too. I just think 4 years is too long. I think it's a whatever. I think we just disagree on how long you should do it.
Yeah, the point is there needs to be it seems like every few months there's a new shooting, there's a new situation, and we just got to.
Yeah, for sure.
And there's the argument that like some people are just going to get these guns illegally anyway.
Well,
so
they are, but
we've had two crazy situations post, and then we had the Las Vegas situation where these are like perfectly regular supposed persons that never been arrested. I mean, Omar Martin was a friggin' security guard. You know what I mean? Like, just the guy at Las Vegas was a pretty reputable dude. He never really no criminal background. You know what I mean? So it's just happening. It's happening so much that I think we just need more preventive measures. So whatever the timing is, it's just something about the change that needs to take place. We're not going to take guns away from people. It's part of fucking America. You know what I mean? I don't own guns, but I enjoy having friends that own guns. Like, I get it. You know what I mean? I get the need for it. I don't think that, so many of these, and I hate sounding so old, but I think a lot of the younger generation just maybe doesn't value life as much because,
not at all. No.
Like,
it doesn't even seem real.
Just the shootings that as I used to watch the news, and then I stopped watching the news when I got rid of cable. And then when we started this podcast, I've been subscribed to all the news channels. And it's crazy the amounts of freaking shootings that are happening in Florida. Mm-hmm. It's, it really is the gunshine state, man.
It really is, man.
It's ridiculously scary. And especially
out of the dumbest shit. You know what I mean? The dumbest shit. It's like, why would you shoot somebody because he's dating your girlfriend?
Or a fight at a club.
Or an ex-girlfriend.
Spills out, yeah.
Or you're just standing outside and somebody talks shit to you, so you start firing bullets in his direction for talking shit. Like you're saying, the value of life just isn't there. People, I don't know if they just don't understand that shit fucking could end at any moment, especially if you're shooting hot lead at somebody. It's almost like it's a movie, I can shoot over his direction, he'll get hit in the shoulder, and he'll be fine. Nah, you're going to jail, bro. Probably. Some people just get away.
Well, I mean, thank God for forensic evidence. And
yeah.
So I'm going to play this video that basically breaks down the timeline so we're going to discuss a lot of different, obviously the facts of the case of what happened, but there's some ancillary things that went on that, that are still like we were questioning,
That means extra.
Right. Where did it fall? Was it terrorist? Was it a gay agenda? Was it just a freaking crazy psycho? I mean, maybe it's a little bit of all of them. So this video is going to break down the timeline of events. Check it out. Check it out.
It is Latin night at The Pulse, a gay nightclub in downtown Orlando, packed with 320 people. And this video of people dancing taken just last night, and then at 2:02 a.m., bartenders announcing last call, when suddenly the gunfire.
You could start smelling the ammunition in the air. Like it smelled like fire.
Was your instinct to hit the ground?
I just wanted to get as low to the floor as I could and try to crawl into safety.
As that gunfire erupted, you could hear it from the outside.
Oh my God, they're all shooting back and forth.
Our officer engaged in a gun battle with that suspect. The suspect at some point went back inside the club where more shots were fired.
You see people screaming and falling, and there was blood everywhere.
The nightclub has three main areas: the hip-hop room, the main bar with the dance floor, and a patio area. Some people escaping out this side door and into this small alleyway. Jean Yell telling me he crawled on the floor, reaching through the curtains to find a sliver of an exit, but that people were climbing over one another to get out. People were jumping over you?
People were trying to jump over me, like pushing my head down, like it's a state of panic, like we just wanted to get out.
Another survivor, Joshua, telling us how he hid under an SUV, discovering a survivor who'd been shot in both arms and in the back. He took off his shirt and used it as a tourniquet.
I took my shirt off, I tied it as tight as I could over the first wound. Second one, I took his shirt, tied it over that one. Thought he was okay. I kind of like held him over, like his arm over my shoulder and vice versa.
No ambulances left. Police told him to get in the back of the cruiser and to give the man a bear hug. 2:08 a.m. and the Pulse nightclub posts this on Facebook. Everyone get out of Pulse and keep running. But inside, the frantic scene continues. So many looking for the exits, others hiding in rooms with no way out.
I saw him. He was maybe 20, 30 feet away from me. And I saw the fire coming out of his gun every time he shot fire.
About 15, 20 people got shoved into a one-person bathroom until he started shooting through the doorway.
Dozens who did not make it out, becoming hostages stuck inside. Some huddled inside a bathroom just off the dance floor, texting loved ones. Call police, I'm going to die.
He called him a terrorist, has them in the women's bathroom, and please come get us out because he's about to kill us.
And in the midst of the attack, the killer himself. Authorities say he called 911 to pledge his allegiance to the terror group ISIS. Authorities sending armored vehicles and SWAT teams. They rushed to the scene. But for nearly 3 hours, they hold their fire, waiting outside.
We're being told possibly up to 15 remaining in the club that are barricaded in.
Why did the SWAT team wait 3 hours? In that time, we need to set up, reevaluate, reassess what's happening, and make sure that all the pieces are in place.
Around 5 a.m., explosions at the club.
Some sort of explosion or...
Moments later, we learn it's a controlled explosion set off by police to distract the gunman. An armored vehicle smashes through a wall of the club, and SWAT officers swarm in behind.
Look at that, just shooting back.
11 of them suddenly involved in a shootout with the killer.
We had 11 Orlando police officers that exchanged gunfire with the suspect and killed him.
Authorities say the shooter, revealed to be 29-year-old Omar Mateen, a U.S. citizen born in America with Afghani parents. Police say he used 2 guns, authorities revealing he purchased both of them in recent days.
It was a handgun and a AR-15 type assault rifle.
One round injuring an officer during the firefight. This damaged Kevlar helmet may have saved his life.
And it is with great sadness that I share we have not 20 but 50 casualties. In addition to the shooter, there are another 53 that are hospitalized.
Making this the deadliest mass shooting in U.S. history.
Although it's still early in the investigation.
Man, I miss Obama.
To say that this was an act of terror and an act of hate.
The 15th time President Obama has addressed the nation since taking office after a mass shooting on U.S. soil. We do have an ABC News exclusive here tonight as we now get a new portrait of what it was like inside that nightclub as the gunman asked people their racial backgrounds, began talking about ISIS, and holding them essentially hostage for several hours. This one survivor you're about to hear the tale of was in there for 3 hours as SWAT teams were assembling right outside here before they broke through those walls. And Gio Benitez talked to him a short time ago as he was leaving the hospital tonight. Gio is across town here in Orlando. Gio?
That's right, David. We are at the largest gay club in Orlando, and this is where we met that survivor. He played dead for 3 hours and was just released from the hospital. In fact, he's still wearing those hospital ID tags. Listen in.
He heard them on the, talking probably to the police department or texting, and he asked them, please do not text. And so they stopped, but then somebody started the texting back up again, and he said, didn't I say don't text? Give me all your phones. Who's in here? Are you guys black? And a couple of them say, yeah. he said that I don't have an issue with the blacks. And then he got on the phone, I don't know if it was with the news or the police department, telling them that America needs to stop bombing ISIS in
So he was
Syria.
calling people on the phone?
Yeah, he called somebody on the phone.
And he was telling them, stop bombing ISIS.
Stop bombing ISIS on the in Syria. Then he called somebody else that he knew, and he mentioned that that he was the fourth shooter, and there was 3 others, and he mentioned, I believe, a female name, and that was playing dead, or because he's saying that she has a bombing vest, and he has one too. And then he said there were 3 snipers out there waiting for cops to come, so the snipers would shoot at the cops.
So this whole time, what were you doing? I mean, you must have heard all this gunfire.
Yeah. I stood quiet. I said I don't think he knew we were there until he came back in and shot again, and one black boy came crawling underneath the stall, grasping our legs and having me and my friend to drop to the floor. And he would go wash his hands and use the blower, and I felt something poke the back of my pocket.
You think he was poking you?
Yeah, it was like one quick touch or poke. I don't know if it was I didn't know what he had to use as a weapon, but he probably was thinking of, I'm dead.
So you played dead for 3 hours
yes,
straight?
And my friend followed the roll, quiet. I heard the cops screaming, get down, get down. It looked like they were getting closer. I don't know, they pulled people from the other side of the club there out. He was busy fixing his rifle, or I don't know what he had, but he was busy fixing. I heard shells drop, shells dropping on the floor. And he was happy that he got it fixed, and he said, I got plenty of bullets.
He said, I've got plenty of
extra bullets. He started shooting in the stall, and I don't know if he was killing the ones in the back stall, and the cops bust a hole in the wall.
What did you see when you walked through that club?
No, I did not. They took me out of the hole in the wall.
Do you think the cops took too long to respond? 3 hours is a long time.
Do I, sitting outside right now today, think that they took too long? 3 hours is a long time. He said he had a bomb in the parking lot.
Yeah, that's what I was just about to say. Snipers. Just a lot of unknowns.
It is. What do you do?
It's such a hard thing.
I think that's indicative of the questions that a police officer has to deal with every day. Walking up to a car or walking up to a door. I mean, for a reporter, for that matter, like some of the reporters have to go to some sketchy places to ask some serious questions.
Yeah.
You don't know how people are going to react to that shit. So I can't say that I do, because I'm not a professional police officer. I'm not in the SWAT team. You would have wished that they could get in faster to stop some of the shooting.
So many.
You wish they could some type of way, but they couldn't for some reason,
Well, it's a dark club. You don't know what's...
No, I mean, I'm sure there are good reasons. I'm just saying.
You're just hearing these gunshots.
I'm sure there's people that wish they got in there faster. I'm sure this guy wish he didn't have to play dead for 3 hours, which, I don't know, man. I don't think I could have did.
I think we're starting to get programmed like that, because of so many shootings and mass killings that we have that turned on. Do you talk to your kids about those things? Like, hey, if anything goes like that, play dead. Or like...
Not play dead. I don't think I've ever said that. Just if something happens, there's an order of like who has who's whatever.
You've gone over those things
a little bit.
I don't remember my parents really... Like, do you think
it's rough because I don't want them to think like I think. I grew up as a military dependent, so when I went to a place, I was given a class about how to act.
I remember this. You said this in...
Yeah, so today, now, I take different routes home from work. I don't do anything in life. I'm a motion designer or whatever. So, I don't even do anything on the side where I do drugs or whatever. So there's no reason for me really to act like this, but I still do. So when I go into a movie theater, I look at everybody and I say, who's by himself, what color of skin he is, because statistically he's going to be white. Does he have a backpack? If he is, I'm going to keep it better. I know it's profiling and all of this shit, but
That's what I'm saying. You
It
have
is
to
what it
nowadays,
is. So I can
man.
only imagine what a professional police officer does on an everyday basis to people. The kind of like sizing up, you know, especially ones who do stuff like body language and all of that shit, you know, the psychology of it all, right? So, you know, sometimes you just, it just be like that.
There was a shooting in Colorado. I think it was the anniversary of Columbine. I don't know. It was a few weeks ago on the news.
Yeah.
And the kid bum rushed the kid with the gun.
Yeah.
You know, like he was like, "Hey, this is going down. Okay, I've been preparing for this moment. Like this might go down in my school."
Yeah.
And you gotta, you know, I don't, you know, unfortunately the kid's dead, so you don't know what he was thinking. Was it just fight or flight moment, or was it something that he was preparing? I think us as society, it's starting to happen like that. You know what I mean? That you just, you know, it might. I want to go have a good time, but this shit might happen.
Yeah, it's a situational too. For me, I know that if I'm with the family, if everybody's there, then my key is to get them out. If I can get them out without hurting them, and you know, if it's like shooting's on that side of the room, we can hit the exit here. I'll grab the biggest little girl. Sean is probably going to grab the little girl, and the boys need to use their teenage fastness to get the fuck out. You know what I mean? So, but if it's a situation where I can't, then I'm going to get shot in the chest, not in the ass, you know, especially like a movie theater. We got those like stadium seating. I could probably jump off of one of those things and come in at like at least 8 feet in the air, 4, you know, like coming down.
Yeah.
And I'll probably get hit, but I keep a knife on me and I'm all in that dude's neck. I'm just, and then I probably die or whatever, but they don't die,
right?
You know? So, and if I'm by myself, I'm trying to get out of there.
Yeah.
Sorry, but literally, once I see some like little kid about to get messed up, I'm out because I got a family outside of this thing that I'm trying to get to. So sorry to everybody who might get messed up, but I gotta go.
Yeah, man.
I gotta go. My family's there. I probably won't make it out, but at least they would.
It's such an unfortunate thing that us as people, especially Americans, you know, ever since 9/11, maybe even ever since Columbine, like it's just been going on more and more and more.
Yeah, man.
And it's second nature. It's just part of like, hey, it might go down, you know. But then
not
again,
everywhere in the world.
I mean,
not everywhere in the world, my guy.
You think so? There's safe.
I
places?
know so. I
Like
know
where?
that it hasn't happened as much in the other parts of the world.
Well, yeah, maybe the Caribbean.
No, maybe like Germany, England, Sweden.
Germany's never had a terrorist attack.
Not never. I'm not saying never. I'm saying, and I'm not saying even just specifically terrorist. I guess I'm talking about shootings.
Right.
They're so high in this country as compared to other places in the world. Because you know what happens? You know what happens after there's a shooting?
Nothing.
No, in other places. New Zealand, I think, was the last one.
Yeah.
Right? What happened? And within like a couple months,
I don't know what happened.
Firearm ban.
Really? They took all the guns out of New Zealand?
I don't know if it's all guns or whatever, but there's something, because I didn't research it for this specific episode, but if you look up New Zealand and like...
There was just preventive
fire,
measure. They
just
filed
right
some
away.
paperwork.
Australia before that, when the whatever, I think it was like 71 people. I think it's assault rifles. I wish I had this specific information, but like it's just like that's a problem. Let's fix it. But it's such part of our culture here. We started this shit when it comes to like big stick, big dick doing things, dropping bombs on motherfuckers. Oh, you want to do this? Let's watch.
America.
Watch. You know what I mean? That's us ingrained, right?
Yeah.
So it like to your point, when we first opened up, it's not happening. You're not taking the guns away, bro. Unless you want to start a war, you're gonna start like literally. There's people in this country gearing up, waiting for you to try to take their guns from them, and so do their entire family. They got little hats, little emblems, and they're training. They're ready. I don't know them.
Militia.
I don't know them, but they're out there.
The militia.
You know what I mean? So
militia.
no, don't do that. But we need to figure out something. Like you're saying, I like the idea of, because I like, to my point about the 10,000 hours thing, which may not be accurate for as far as like how much people do information or whatever. But I'm saying the training makes sense because even if you got problems, maybe having to do the right thing and put yourself in the right state of mind will at least help the situation. You know what I mean? Help some type of way of like training and psychological things. And like I said, I think social media is a big part of it. I think social media is a huge part of it because almost always when you look in these people's social media that have done this stuff, they have some like crazy leanings as far as like aggressive feelings toward
social media will tell you. There should be some type of algorithm that could just... There
has to be.
And be like, oh, this guy's definitely might
There has to be. There's for everything else. If I can go look up matcha, right, and I'm like looking up benefits of matcha and then go to Facebook and then there's a little thing in there, like the same day that talks about selling me matcha, then if I go and look up how to, make a 3D printed plastic gun to get through security at the airport, then somewhere in Facebook has to be like, this guy's looking up gun. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I guess the idea there is the government isn't supposed to be in
unless they have
Facebook's
reasonable evidence.
Facebook's like backyard like that. But I thought we established that they are, right? I thought they are. In Google too, right? Or is that not, are we not, I don't know what world we're living in right now. We're in the CNN, MSNBC reporting world, or in the actual calling, what's the dude's name from WikiLeaks, a terrorist, for telling us that they're listening to our phone calls. Yeah. And it's like, but he told us about illegal shit y'all are doing. So, but he's a bad guy. All right. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to keep up. So the earth is flat or is it round? I just want to know how to proceed,
Yeah. There's always that argument, if there's nothing to hide, then what do you care? But then at the same time, then what do we have all these civil rights and Bill of Rights for? It's just, it's a super gray area. You want law enforcement to stay on top of people like that, but you also don't want them to be using that power, to fuck with people in the wrong way.
Absolute power corrupts absolutely every single
gray
time.
Area.
Something like God powers like that, it never stays above level. It just never does, because we're human beings and 1 out of 5 of us are sociopaths or something like that. It's like,
but don't you think if we had better control or better, like, you got to go to school for 12 years to be a doctor. There's got to be better training for parents, man, because it starts at that foundation too. Like, he's going to grow up and shoot somebody, but if you reverse back into his life, I'm sure there was signs that like, oh, this kid might grow up to be.
I think part of the problem is giving people in general, I don't know, the benefit of the doubt that they are going to do the right thing. Because what happens is when you become a parent, they offer you a lot of services and classes and whatever, right? There's a lot of stuff out there for people, but it's voluntary. It's given as information, not as like, this is what you need to do.
Should be
you need to sign up. You need to sign up at Wednesday. This is that Wednesday class, and because the argument there is, I don't have time to do that. I can't do that. I got to work to pay for this child. So on top of the classes being given, I think there needs to be some sort of like work understanding program where it's like, no, this is sort of like jury duty, maybe, where you're like, no, I got to go to jury duty. You want me to go to jail? What's happening?
Yeah.
So kind of building on top of your kind of idea.
Yeah, there has to be some type of merit system. Like this next video I'm about to play is Mateen's father. Because I think it's important to dive in, like, where these influences come from, Because I think, it's not to blame the father, but when you start to see some of the, personality traits, you can kind of see where, you start to maybe see where Mateen got these extremist ideals from, why he was maybe anti-gay. So this first video is going to be in subtitles because he's going to be speaking Arabic. I'm not sure what dialect of Arabic, so if we have any Arabic listeners, maybe you can let us know if the context of this translation is true, right? Because everything gets translated. Just like in religion, these books got translated, so you interpret things differently. So according to this translation, it's very anti-gay.
از اینکه ما خبر کشته شدن بچه من به شما
So if you guys can't read that, it says, I am informing you about the killings of my son in America. It is very sad news, and as respect, I wanted to make you aware.
Do we know what flag this is?
I think they're from Afghanistan. My son, Omar Mateen, was a very good son and an educated. So I want you guys to see the context of this, and then I'm going to play another video that kind of contradicts this stuff. He had one kid. He had one kid and a wife, and he was so
dignified,
which means he had respect for his parents. Shoot it out, Thompson.
I have no idea what caused him to shoot last night. He was working in a company, and the company gave him a pistol.
Company gave him a gun.
I don't know what has caused him to shoot, and I don't know. And I did not understand that he holds a grudge in his heart. He went to a homosexual nightclub of boys and girls and shot 50 people with a gun, with the gun the company gave him. Homosexual nightclub of boys and girls. I'm very upset, and I have announced to the American people as well. He's upset, and he told America that he's mad that his son got killed. Or maybe that he might be saying that he's upset that he shot up a gay nightclub just now. Why he has done it in the holy month of Ramadan, the issue of homosexual and its punishment, all that they do. The issue. Okay, so he's saying he did it because it was Ramadan, and that's the time you're supposed to do it, I guess. God himself will give punishment to homosexuality. It is not for the people to decide. So he's saying, this is weird. It seems like he's disowning it, but not because it's wrong, but because his son did it, not just God. What? Am I reading that right?
Right, and that there's a lot of contradictions.
I feel like I'm misunderstanding something. Because this is like, it goes from like good on him to bad on him to like good on him. Like he's saying it's bad, but then he's saying like, well, you know, God's going to kill him anyway.
And he continues to bring the homosexuality up, and then he's kind of blaming the security company for giving his son
off rip. He's like, I don't know why he did it. The company gave him a gun.
And it gets deeper.
Again, we're just reading this. He may be ordering, giving us a recipe for falafel or whatever. Like, I don't know what he's actually. I mean, I'm just reading this word.
Do you like falafel?
I love falafel. It's very
good. I'm gonna have to
friggin' vegan. Chickpeas, yeah, or also known as garbanzo beans.
Oh,
same thing. Same thing.
That. Okay.
I am terrifically saddened. I don't know if you can be terrifically saddened by anything, by what he did. I wanted you to be aware of this issue. So he wants us to know that he's sad.
He wants the Afghani people, his people. He's speaking to his people, not
That's what he's doing?
us.
It's on YouTube or whatever? What's this for?
He has a YouTube channel.
Yeah. What's with the harsh red light? I'm just wondering.
It's a personal video at his house because he was trying to run for president in Afghanistan. I'm not going to play all the videos.
President of Afghanistan. That's a pretty big job.
Well, and he comes from a long line of aristocrats from Afghanistan. They moved here. He's very politically, very conservative
Omar
Muslim.
Mateen came from money.
A little bit, like not you know, just,
Afghan
aristocrat.
aristocrat.
It's not a hugely rich country.
Say it again.
Aristocrats.
Right.
So you know, just because they're higher level, it's a poor country. So if they come
it's like
here,
Afghan level.
Yeah, if they come here, they'll probably still be middle class because of the, you know, even though because it's a super poor country, you know, like dirt poor,
third world.
Yeah,
well, dirt and rocks, that,
right?
You know, that the U.S. helped.
Mountains.
I'm saying the U.S. helped build some of those rocks. Wants us to know that he's sad, and God may give proper health to youth to obey the real path of the holy religion of Islam. It's going to give health to youths that obey the real path. So again, kind of a anti-gay kind of like stab in there.
So what happens is after Omar Mateen did this, he comes on a few days later. He drops that video. He already has several videos. He's got his own
video we
YouTube
just watched.
channel. Right. So he's already have a dialogue with a supposed audience that he speaks to all the time.
What's his
so
audience
that
like,
message, it's conservative Afghani Muslim immigrants.
I'm sorry, like the numbers. What is the views like?
Nothing crazy, you know, but enough that he has a following base and he continued to do it. You know what I mean? It's bigger, a little bigger than us, I would say, because he was doing it for a while, and so there's factual evidence to say that he definitely influenced his son because this was part of his hobbies. This were his practices. This was his religion and his faith.
Are him and his son close?
Well, that's what he's going to say now. This is going to contradict the previous video where he kind of backtracks and he kind of like, you know, says that he does like gay people. I'm going to play it for you guys. And you start to see this contradictory, and you also start to see the way he is starting to blame even the security at Pulse, you know? So check this out. So it just shows a lot of entitlement. And I think that a strong faith with entitlement and pride always leads to personalities like this. You know what I mean?
Let me ask you, first of all, your general reaction.
My general reaction as a father, I'm shocked and I'm upset, I'm mad for his action. And I don't...
thought he was terrifically saddened.
Terrifically saddened is a weird way. I've never heard it put that way.
Approve of is what he did. And especially what he did was inside the United States. That's a home. The home that I lived for a very long time and I respect and I want to protect. And I'm against anyone who wants to do anything inside the United States or outside the United States.
The President of the United States has called your son's actions terrorist.
That's what I say.
Do you agree?
That's what I say. What he did was, it was act of terrorism.
You believe your son was a terrorist?
No. What he did was.
But do you believe he was a terrorist?
Sir? I said what he did was act of terrorist, but as far as him being a terrorist, I'm not aware, and I don't approve of his action. The last day that what he did, I didn't know. I wish I did know, I could have caught him. I think this question I answered times and times and times. So what I'm doing here, because I feel really bad, I'm very sad and very mad about those families, they lost their loved one. Besides that, I lost my son. And I'm surprised and shocked. Why did he do that? I wish he was alive, I would ask him. Why did he do this? You weren't brought up to be this way. And I wanted him to get higher education, to be servant of the United States. The United States always is a place for higher education. And the more education you have, the better life you can have. So
maybe he's a little disappointed his son wasn't a doctor and became a security guard. Seems like a lot of pressure, you know what I mean?
Yeah, maybe.
Let's continue this.
I love to serve this country. Has been very good to everybody, especially me.
Let me ask you this.
I have a lot of friends.
Do you believe that your son, I'm just curious, it's been...
I'm sorry, can you allow me I have to say?
Yeah, bro, let him speak.
I have a lot of friends throughout all this time that I've been living here. And Americans are always together in a sad news. And I apologize for what he did. I wish I did catch him. I wish. I know as much as you do. I didn't know. So I did say this times after times.
He's getting
after
mad, boy.
times. And I wasn't hoping for my son to do such a thing. And I can't believe, still I'm in shock. And why you want to harm your own family? When you live in the United States, everybody's your family. And I'm really surprised. I'm really surprised and shocked and sad. And my heart goes to those 50 people, their family, their loved one. And my heart goes for those people they got injured. Why they should get hurt? Why they should die? For what reason?
The underwear?
He doesn't have
blurred
the right.
that time?
Nobody has the right to harm anything, anybody. What the person's lifestyle, it's up to him. It's a free country. Everybody has his own choice, the way that he wants to live.
Let me ask you. Did Omar have mental illness that you knew of?
I never noticed that because he was attentive to his work and his family, and was coming very respectful.
Had his behavior changed recently?
The whole thing is surprising to me. As I said that, I don't want you to ask me the same question. Times and times. I think that I know as much as you do. I'm surprised the way that you are.
Sure.
So
well, let me ask you this. Your son made a phone call to 911 where
I'm not aware.
Pledged allegiance to ISIS. No. I'm just telling you what the police said. He pledged allegiance to ISIS. Was your son a follower of ISIS?
The way that I see him, to make a judgment, I wasn't aware of what he did. When he called, I wish I said that he was alive. I would ask him, why did he do that? That's not the way that I allow my son to behave that way.
Would you say your son hated America?
No. So he's a born American citizen. He's born in New York. So what he was going through in his mind, what he did was a very, very select way.
Yeah.
I wish I did catch him.
I know there was a quote that I read, this massacre happened during Ramadan, the holiest month for Muslims.
Let me tell you.
Are you disappointed?
I am very disappointed. What it means, the month of Ramadan, you get more humble, you be more attentive to religion, have more respect. You have to read the Holy Quran.
Right.
And you have to get more knowledgeable about the deen, about the religion. So what he did was opposite. Opposite. So I want to thank you for coming here. I just want to take my message out, and I'm sorry to those families. They are my family. And that is something I wish I tell to those 50 people's family and those people they got injured. I wish I did catch them. That this would not have happened.
Last question. This happened at a gay bar, and ISIS has been adamant about persecuting and executing homosexuals. Do you agree with that?
I don't agree with nothing.
But do you agree that homosexuals should be killed?
Sir?
Do you agree?
Don't twist.
I'm not. I'm just asking because I know some of your videos you talked about that.
No, I didn't talk. I didn't talk about none of this.
Do you believe that homosexuals should be
What he did was that he did something on his own. I never approve such action to anybody. My intention is to take my message out as much as I can. I give opportunity to all the television news that we are sad, my whole family is sad, and my children are sad. All of my friends are sad.
Well,
we are very sad.
Not all your children are sad.
Sad news for everybody. And in million years, if I knew, I would not allow this would happen. In million years.
I believe that.
America,
for sure. Out of all this stuff that he's saying, I believe he wouldn't. The way he's.
Should get more education.
I don't think he would have wanted him to go shoot up a club and shit. But I believe he preached anti-gay rhetoric to his son.
Well, this goes with the whole. Continue with the contradictory. He's always kind of defending his point, like, no, I'm just like you. No, I'm just like you. You're shocked, so am I. You know what I mean?
Investigators. Neighbours would regularly see the couple with their 3-year-old son outside the complex where they lived in the tropical suburbs of Florida's east coast. Officers have been searching their townhouse for physical evidence. But back in Orlando, detail was emerging of another hidden life, and revelations that Mateen used gay dating apps.
He clearly had his picture open on Adam for Adam. He's had his picture up on Grindr. And Jacked, he had his pictures up on there.
Adam for Adam.
Court today told MSNBC.
What was the first one?
Adam for Adam.
This is what it was called?
I was like, Adam for Adam. Oh, Adam and Eve.
See, Mateen had approached him
What was
online.
that, Jack?
I recognized him from one of the apps, but I instantly blocked him because, like, he was, like, very creepy in his messages, and I blocked him immediately.
Others say the night he wrought such violence was far from his first inside the Pulse
Pause it for a
nightclub.
second.
In fact,
So, Grindr and Tinder and Jacked and even whatever, Plenty of Fish, that's basically about hooking up. That's not like I'm looking for a boyfriend. It's not eHarmony or some shit.
I mean, I've never really done the
Me
dating
neither.
app thing, but
But
think,
from my understanding, it's more about like
maybe it's the younger people want to fuck more, older people
wanna
just
fuck.
might
Just
might
trying to
want
fuck. It's an
company.
app trying to get it done quick.
Yeah.
Right? So
But older people might use it for dating. Just depends on your maturity level.
My question is, how creepy do you got to be creepy where you're just trying to fuck and everybody's sort of on the same wavelength of we're just trying to hook up? Like, how creepy do you got to be?
That's true.
Because it's not like the eHarmony aspect when you're like, hi, my name is Chris. I work here and this is my job. My likes are watching movies.
You also
and
pay for an algorithm to match you too.
right, you get the right person, but that's even just for like going on a
Tinder,
date.
you're just swiping.
You're just like, oh,
she looks good.
Oh man, I put
It's
my
all
dick in
looks.
that. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And then you're like, what's up? I want to hook up. Or hey, again, I got out right before this thing got popping, so I still talk to a girl or whatever. But I'm just, when she said that, I'm like, but that's just about fucking. So how creepy does Buddy have to be for them to be like, yo, I had to block that dude because he was asking me to fuck in the wrong way? Or
You hold my Quran.
unless I'm getting Grindr and Tinder and Plenty of Fish and all that shit wrong. But I thought that's what it was about. Anyway.
Yeah, man. I can only imagine how much STDs being passed out because of those apps.
Those apps were just right?
The
he'd been there
FCD
dozens
swipe
of
right
times.
for
They
the
asked his
hookup.
father what he knew.
They say that he was known inside that club, that he had conversations with them about you, and that he would sometimes sit in the corner, sometimes he would become belligerent and angry and leave the club.
Even I didn't know about this. So why he went there and why did he do shooting there? And I'm not aware of at all. And I wish I did know his intention. I could have stopped him.
His father is hoarse from speaking about his son and the massacre he carried out with a handgun and a semi-automatic rifle.
What kind of guidance did you give him with regard to people who are gay?
Well, he wasn't talking about anything of that. So there was one single incident that we went through in Miami, and that's about it.
So in Miami...
Have you ever talked to your son about gay shit?
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. That's something that I think you talk to your son about.
Early.
Unless you're uncomfortable about it.
No, just early. Just like, yo, later, right now you're thinking about this, but later on you're going to be thinking about this. So just so you know, whatever comes out of that is whatever comes out of that.
But you're comfortable with the shit. I think
Yeah.
when you come from a father that's not comfortable,
Yeah, for
it's
sure.
like, hey, let me not bring that up. Let's not even talk about that.
Right. And then to the more extreme, they do talk about it, but talk about how fucked up it is for a man to love a man and blah, blah, blah. You got Adam and Eve, not Adam and Adam, Adam and Steve, and all this other dumb shit.
But I think for his personality, not talking about it is kind of like this. Like, hey, we don't talk about that in
Well,
this house.
but he does talk about it, just not to his son.
Right.
He just preaches it places, and
So he's indirectly telling his son.
yo,
Because
I mean,
that's
what
what he's preaching.
Because the one thing number 17 about parenting is more times than not, your kids, if there's a choice, your kids are not going to listen to what you say. They're going to do what you do. You know what I mean? So it's like he could say whatever he wants, but if he's out there doing, like, I could tell my son don't smoke cigarettes, but if I'm smoking cigarettes after dinner every day, guess what he's going to do when he grows up? He's going to smoke cigarettes because that's what my dad did.
That's what I'm saying. I think that there's a lot of extremeness going on. And because, Omar didn't become a doctor, he's like, what other way could I really go out and have respect?
The only thing I'm good at is being an asshole. just like my dad. So I'm gonna follow suit.
It's the vibe.
You've said that your son saw two men kissing and he was shocked by that.
It wasn't shock, just a
wasn't
normal
shocked.
reaction that anybody else can show.
Normal reaction.
What's the normal reaction?
Just seeing two guys in front of the bunch of kids and women kissing each other. So they could have picked another spot, I guess, but shocked everybody there.
Do you think there's anything wrong with two men kissing one another in public?
I have no problem, no issue in that.
Of course you do. You just
said it was. You just gotta go hide it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Go somewhere else. You can't be doing that in front of the kids.
Plus, his son had to hide his massive erection when it happened too, because he obviously liked fucking.
I mean, to go out usually when people go out of their way and say it,
bro. When you go that hard and you're just that hard, you know, there's a reason. You know, you're trying to mask something, you know, especially probably in front of his dad. He's probably like, oh my God, Dad, look at that over there. And it's just like two dudes kissing. And more likely, it's going to be just like anybody else kissing, where you're not like making out or whatever, but
my thing is
you're kissing, right?
Public display, whether it's gay or like, I don't even like seeing two head.
Just don't go crazy.
Yeah, like
just don't go nuts.
But it's not.
But there's places to go nuts.
Right.
You know what I mean? There's
South
places
Beach.
You just go. You just make out wherever. You know what I mean? Just now, at that point, don't take your dick out. You know what I mean? At that point, don't bang her in the middle of the street. There's levels to it.
If you have respect for your loved one, whether you're gay or straight, like a quick pop kiss or something,
boom, love you.
But like all over, you're just kind of throwing
it's just
your
too much.
like.
It's just too
like
much.
you don't have no respect for your loved one,
right? But that's not how he was saying.
Nah, and that's the point I'm making. It's like,
I got
no, I'm not
problem,
uncomfortable.
But you gotta go around the corner with that.
But
junk.
I don't see it.
You've said in a statement that it is up to Allah whether or not anyone should be punished for their homosexuality.
No, what I meant was it was wrong translation. What I meant that no human being can judge about another human being.
Does homosexuality require punishment?
That's not up to me. It's up to God.
You looked up to
But
God.
rather than divine intervention, Mr. Mateen argues club security should have intervened to stop the massacre.
The security should have acted it better. That was his job. So if
We're gonna blame the security.
Yeah, because anybody does breaks the law, that person's intentions to kill other people, they should be killed. Doesn't matter who.
Some would say a better protection would have been if your son wasn't able to get a gun himself.
He was a security officer. He had the
Does he
gun
got the
permit.
selfie thing backwards? Aren't you supposed to look in the mirror?
Security officer. He had the gun permit. They gave him a gun.
It's not a selfie. That's a
But he
that's a
had
mirror
been
pic.
investigated twice by the FBI. I know it doesn't break any laws, but do you think it was right and just that he was able to get a semi-automatic weapon designed to cause maximum damage?
I don't. I'm anti-gun. I'm against anybody getting a gun.
But this is Florida, where gun rights are unassailable.
Hell yeah, bitch!
He's evil. Maybe the gun store he picked.
A former New York City policeman, Mr. Henson, says all legal checks were performed before Mateen took possession of his weapons.
He's a security officer. How you feel about that,
An evil
Cosmo?
person came in here and they legally purchased two firearms
that guy.
from
Sorry
us.
to that guy.
And if he hadn't purchased them from us,
Like I feel bad for
I'm
that
sure
dude.
he would have gotten them from another local.
Because he
gun
would
store
have.
in the area.
Yeah. So like it sucks that
in
it fell on that
itself
dude.
is just one.
I mean, the guy's a cop. He's a gunner. You would think he's doing his due diligence.
No, he's
as
doing
far
what he's
as
supposed
the
to do.
State or the government mandates.
Now that's the argument, right? Is it enough? That's what we're talking about. Is that little bit enough?
It's not
No.
because you have people like the Nicholas Cruz.
Yeah.
Had like 4 or 5 guns he bought.
It's just stockpile.
all
And then
guns
the
that
other
the
one
old
just
dude from Las Vegas.
happened. I don't know if it was in this state, but was that Colorado? Was it the Colorado with the 2 kids?
Yeah.
Yeah. One was like 19, 20, and the other one was like 17, and a girl. You don't see girls doing that shit a lot either.
There was that girl from Miami that they found her in
Well,
Colorado.
she was a
in the
woman.
mountains. Yeah.
And she had a mental problem.
That's true.
I guess arguably they all have mental problems, but she was obsessed with Columbine.
Yeah.
And she had some real issues. So, obviously, again, all of them have some sort of issues because you're getting out there and go killing people that haven't done nothing to you. Like not even somebody. Because there's an argument for me killing somebody because they did something to me.
Right.
Killed somebody. And it's like now something broke in me that
Yeah,
I want to
it's
kill
revenge,
you.
yeah.
But like now they're doing shit where it's just like you're just killing kids for no apparent reason, right? No, she was obsessed with a crime that happened years ago and then either wanted to do it again or whatever. So she drove up to Colorado.
But it's not a common thing. You're right. Women don't necessarily go out and just, it's a man thing.
Not all the time.
Yeah.
There was that, and there's tons. We talked about tons here on actually. Eileen was one of them. But remember this astronaut? Novak, Saris, something like that.
What did she do? No.
She drove from one side of the country to another to confront a lover's ex or a lover's current. Crazy about her is she didn't stop to take a dump or a piss. She wore diapers.
Yeah, that's dedication. Some women, when women get a heartbroken, that's the woman thing. They usually kill because they're heartbroken. There's the YouTube killer too. Remember the YouTube killer? No. She was on YouTube. She got mad because they demonetized her shit. She went to YouTube.
Oh, she went to the headquarters. Yeah, I remember that.
So many you just forget, bro.
I mean, if Kylie woke up tomorrow and she didn't have her billions of fucking followers or $1 billion from her millions of followers.
You know, another crazy thing is I was saying that you needed training, but apparently Omar was a security guard.
Right. Alleged?
Yeah, I think this is...
Orlando, the focal point of a nation still reeling from the carnage that took place just up the street at the Pulse nightclub. Tonight, new cell phone video of the moment the dance floor turned into a killing field. Shocking stories of survival, harrowing escapes, and heroic acts in the face of relentless hate. And we were there as one survivor was reunited with her angel, the man who blocked a bullet for her.
Nice.
At that moment in that room, it wasn't a typical shooting.
Ooh, she was pissed.
Boom, 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 nonstop.
Were people screaming? Were they?
It was
I remember seeing video of her being mad as fuck, dude.
There's bullets flying all over the place, and people just want to protect themselves and run, and you're hearing the moans of people.
What are you thinking about where Jeanette is and how to get to her?
I was scared. I was like, think about it.
Fear and heartache weigh heavy in the Orlando night. Outside the hospital, Jeanette McCoy waits for an update on her friend, Angel.
It was hard knowing that I'm alive because my buddy was right behind me and he gets shot in his back. I'm not dead because of him, because that bullet was supposed to be on my back.
That was Angel.
That was Angel. He's my angel.
These are the harrowing stories of survival and courage after the deadliest mass shooting in American history.
I like it.
Yeah, that lady, I was looking when I was, for my job or whatever, I was looking at some of the raw video. Right when they were still in there, she was like on the side screaming for them to go in there. Remember those 3-hour things? She was like screaming at them to go fucking in there, like yelling at the cops hard as fuck, cussing crazy, man. She was so mad that they weren't going in there. So when you're asking that question, like, do I think, I'm not a professional police officer, but I know she was on the, because I can tell she's very, you can see her.
Yeah.
She's got the ass, she's kind of jacked. She's the same lady, you know what I mean? She was mad as fuck. He was like, go in there right now. Go out there, he's fucking shooting people, saying some shit like that. She was yelling at the cops, man.
You know what's crazy is that all these eyewitnesses accounts feel real.
Yeah.
But there's still some fuckboys
all the
online.
conspiracy
Crisis
theories.
actors, Alex Jones ass
morons.
people.
Morons.
Okay, they are morons, Thompson.
Morons. But I understand it though, because I've never until this one literally been in it and experienced it as close as I could have and wherever wanted to be. You know what I mean?
Do you remember Mama Dukes?
Kinda.
Okay. So I believe that these things really go on.
The conspiracy theorists? Things?
I believe
false flag.
I believe that what I believe is that the mass shootings really happen, but I do believe there are some crisis actors. I don't believe the whole thing is staged, okay? I believe things happen and it's unfortunate, all the shootings, even Sandy Hook. The thing is that I believe that there's groups of powerful people that want to politicize certain things to spin an agenda. And the reason I say that is when you listen to some of the eyewitness, what are they speaking about? are speaking about the traumatic issue, right? How their friend was lost. It's very sad, right?
So you're saying they're capitalizing off the tragedy somehow.
Some of them. The real victims, you can tell.
Yeah.
You can tell because they're speaking about personal things, how they feel. There's no political agenda, okay?
Right.
Then you get some of the eyewitnesses, instead of sticking to the victimization or the mental thing that's going on, the PTSD, they start throwing in gun control. And it's like,
like on the scene. And
on
shit.
the scene, like,
Yeah.
I get it. Yeah, that's what we need to speak to about. But right now, we're coping. Do we really got to politicize anything? So when the eyewitnesses that show up and start politicizing, I start to question things. You know, we all know that there was an FBI investigation on who exactly was backing the people at the Occupy Wall Street movement. And we found out later on that there were a lot of, you know, George Soros backed nonprofits that were paying people to be there and sit in to spin a certain agenda. So this mom, I found some footage online. This is the most compelling evidence that made me go, maybe. So again, I 100% believe, right, that this thing happened. I'm from Orlando. I know people that were affected by this personally.
Sure.
My girlfriend had best friends that were at the place. So it absolutely happened, but we have to understand that there are some people that try to influence these things to spin the narrative, and they take advantage of these situations. And you have conspiracy theories that go way off the cuff.
Go crazy.
And then kill the possible shit that is really happening. So I'm going to play the footage of Mama Dukes. You guys let me know what you think. I don't know the truth, but it made me feel a little like maybe this lady is kind of spinning an agenda. So this is the first video. She lost her son.
Was in the club last night?
Yes, he was.
Have you heard anything?
I haven't heard anything. I've been here since 4 o'clock in the morning. I've been waiting. Waiting by the emergency room to see if anybody gets called in.
What is your son's full name?
My son is Christopher Leinenen.
Christopher Leinenen. And what have the police been able to tell you?
Well, they said there's a lot of dead bodies at the club. That's a crime scene. They can't identify anybody. So it could be hours and hours before we find out. The hospital said that there are some bodies at the hospital that came in and they died. And they're not identifiable yet either. And then there are a few that are in critical condition that aren't identified yet.
Christine, I am so sorry. Were you able to have any kind of communication with your son last night at all? Any text messages, any phone calls?
No, I called him last night at 6 o'clock. He was at SeaWorld. And I was just giving him some information that he was going to need to know for my upcoming surgery. And I left him with, I love you, Chris. And then I just happened to wake up at 3 o'clock. And I was checking my Facebook. And I saw that one of Christopher's friends, Brandon, had posted on Facebook that there was a shooting at the Pulse. And he doesn't know where his friends were. So I texted him and called him and came right here to the hospital. And we've been waiting since 4 this morning.
Well, Christine,
his friend Brandon was in the club at the time of the shooting.
Christine, we are praying with you. Go ahead.
He told me that he had just happened to be in the bathroom and he heard multiple gunshots, and he was able to run out the front door. And while he was standing by the club door, and the ambulances were coming in. He saw that my son's boyfriend had multiple gunshots and was being taken by the ambulance, but he never saw Christopher come out, and we haven't been able to call him or text him.
Well, we're going to do everything we can to help find him as well, Christine. We're praying with you. We feel so badly, and our hearts are going out to you. Thank you for sharing what you knew with us this morning.
I just wanted to say, though, that this is a club that nobody wants to be in. And please, could we do something with the assault weapons so that we could stop this club from ever getting any new members? I beg all of you, please. I wanted to let you know about my son. When he was in high school, he started the Gay Straight Alliance, and he won the Anna Frank Humanitarian Award to bring gays and straights together. I've been so proud of him for that thing.
Okay, so very sad. I don't know this lady. This could be 100% truth. But because of the internet, motherfuckers will bring shit to light. This is a protest in New York. I don't know if it was before or after, but it's definitely the same lady. And as you can tell, there's a fascist agenda here.
These are fucking assholes! But I don't know where my son is. No one can tell me where my son is. You were a joke!
My son was in Las Vegas with a lot of his friends and he came home.
And I'm disgusted! I'm a professor! How dare you! How dare you fucking assholes protect neo-Nazis! If he's been shot, if he's dead, no one knows. But they told me there are fatalities. Fuck you! Fuck you! Fuck you!
He didn't come home last night, and I don't want prayers. I don't want thoughts. I want gun control, and I hope to God nobody else sends me any more prayers.
These are kids who are trying to learn about humanity! They're trying to learn about human rights and against racism and xenophobia and LGBTQ rights, and you're letting these fucking neo-Nazis near here! You should kick their ass! But he was sitting right next to his boyfriend, and his boyfriend definitely was shot with multiple gunshots and taken in the ambulance. You should be ashamed of yourselves! You should! Fuck that shit! Fuck that shit! It's not up to these students to kick the ass of a neo-Nazi!
Yo, she is going
I
in.
want gun control. No more guns.
Then you have to raise your fist!
All right, so those are three different people.
You think so?
That's definitely three different people. She's the youngest, right? Orlando's the oldest, and that other lady with the short hair is the middle person.
Different people.
Those are three different people.
It's not the same woman.
Not to me.
Okay. I don't know. You know,
she's going in.
But do you get
sure.
the whole I'm gonna play more eyewitnesses and see if any of these eyewitnesses talk about gun control.
No, what I will say about Orlando is she seems like a bad actor.
Right?
Like, as I look at stuff like the way she's holding her cry, and the only thing that makes me believe her is that every time we mention Christopher, she gets more emotional. So I'm not saying she's lying. I'm just saying like she seems like a bad actor. Now I believe that her son, I believe all of her story. I'm just saying two things. I didn't say the second thing, but one thing is like when you're talking right now here, it seems like a child who's lying or whatever. But I believe you. I believe you, lady. I'm sorry about your son. And the second point is, how do you get on camera at a moment like that? How do you talk to how I would not be able to speak to anybody about anything. You can just ask me a question. I probably just look at you, bro. Like, I don't know if my kid is alive or dead or what. I asked the cops and he said there's a lot of dead bodies. We'll see. You know what I mean?
Nobody else. But nobody else when they ask
and then
the
at
questions,
the end,
it's all internal emotionalness. You can even like with the black gentleman and with
you believe it though. You feel it.
There's no
the lady,
questioning.
I didn't really believe. I didn't feel, but I believe her. Again, I believe her. I'm sorry about your son, but it just didn't like. I was like, damn. Like I wanted to cry when the two guys were speaking, or the buff chick and the black
Even
dude
the
were
first
talking.
guy that was saying he was playing dead.
Yeah, the guy, he's
believed all
laying
that.
there, yeah, because he's just
believed all
talking, he's just saying, and then, but she's like going,
And then the interview's over.
and at the
let me
end,
throw
she's
the
like, well, no, like, but what I think happened in that moment, besides her kind of just being a weirdly emotional, kind of like projecting it odd for me, is that she had that feeling way before. She's obviously a very progressive person who's into her child starting a gay alliance, and there's no like bias there. So I assume.
But why bring that to the
because
front?
I assume
Why bring that to the
because
front?
I assume during that time she's also been an advocate of gun reform before all of this happened.
But that would serve.
So it's just in her brain. She may
Yeah.
just be one of those people that just say stuff like that and just talk like that. Because there's people in the world now you get into a conversation about guns and like we're talking about mass shootings, and they'll say there has to be something done about these guns. You know what I mean?
When my grandma passed away, I believe America is falling behind on their medical system. It's a strong political view I have. But I didn't even bring that up. I was so focused on her passing away or staying alive.
Yeah.
And that's my thing. I think when something real happens to you, you're just going to internalize it first. Forget my political out views, my emotion.
Yeah, to my point about how you getting on camera, like
Exactly.
and stuff. I never do understand that. Like, kid dies in a pool at Disney, and the parents are doing an interview. I'm like, how are you even like standing right now? Should be in the shower crying somewhere. But again, this goes back to every time we have this kind of conversation. I recognize that it's just the way I deal with stuff. It doesn't make it the regular way or whatever. It just makes it the way that I kind of like internalize or whatever those things. Some people need to like get on Facebook and talk about how their day went every day. And some people can just have a really great lunch and post their sandwich, or a really great run around the park and post that. And then some people don't post any of that shit at all, and it's all fine. You know what I mean? Well, again, fine to some people. Me personally, I wouldn't have my ass up on camera. Like, I don't understand that shit. That's
I
just
don't understand it either.
crazy to me.
I don't understand it either.
But I will say that one video you played, that's definitely 3 different women. And the way you protest is like the one, fuck that shit. Fuck that shit. I love that. I love that kind of like heat at a protest. Love it.
So I'm gonna play a couple. The last part of the videos I'm gonna play is really like, we know what happened. It was an unfortunate situation, but I want to bring light to the emotional, the leftover emotions. We got to see what exactly how people felt when it happened, but then months later, you really don't know how that's going to affect you. You know how you were talking about, the policemen. Imagine how they feel afterwards, right?
Yeah, man.
Damn, did we take 3 hours? Was it too long?
Yeah, man.
What about all the doctors? Because the hospital was right down the street. People were throwing people in trucks
back to
driving
trucks.
them a block or two straight to the hospital. The way the doctors, the PTSD from that emotion of seeing all these traumatic gunshot patients coming in, the EMT workers, the fire department, the people that were working the club, the security guard that Omar Mateen's father is blaming. You don't think that guy or that woman feels bad about, man, could I done more?
I took shots at him.
I think those
Much
emotions.
more you could have did, except like run in there and also possibly get shot.
You got to live that every single day of your life, because for us, we weren't there. We talk about this. It'll probably leave next week. I'm not going to think about this every single day. But for the people that were there, the first responders, even the media, I can only imagine what you go through having to edit all this footage and put these and see it over and over and over. It must leave a certain, emotional stain on your mind, or maybe the way you look at other people.
Yeah, it's this. I think because it's at such a distance. It's still constant, but it's at such a distance that it's kind of like, and this will get a little flowery, but like the erosion of sand on a beach because of the ocean. It's not necessarily like a big hurricane coming through and taking away, but just like a steady kind of like whatever. And the sand in that kind of metaphor would be my
effect,
sensitivity toward anything. So it's just a slow, steady desensitization, whatever.
Desensitization.
Yes. Yeah. No, that's not it either. No. Sensitization is not the word.
No. Desensitized.
Can't say it.
Desensitized.
Yeah. Desensitized, I think. Yeah. It still seems wrong. But slowly, it just kind of goes away to a point where you're kind of joking about babies dying and you realize it and you're like, shit. But it's coping. It's kind of like a coping mechanism.
Well, when cops throw those jokes around, people think, man, these people are sick people.
You got to do something.
You
got to do something or you're going to cry.
Even gangsters, when you watch those gangster movies and they're making fun of killing people and something like coping mechanism.
It really is, man. Or you're going to go crazy because you're probably slowly going crazy anyway. You know what I mean?
So
sensitized.
This was the youngest victim.
I don't know.
And I'm going to play a couple of these
stories.
stories.
You got the dad's interview in here?
I think so.
Yeah, this shit sucks. Like what happened as far as like how she got out the house that day.
Said they survived Saturday night.
He came in. You could hear him loading the gun.
Playing possum or pretending to be dead. Waiting, hoping, praying they could get out of Pulse nightclub alive. Akira's cousin, Tiara, recounting the night to NPR.
God, like, please get us out of here. Like, we're too young for this.
It had started out as a weekend of celebration. Akira graduating from high school in Philadelphia just last week, heading to Orlando to visit her brother there. She'd picked Pulse because she was under 21 and wanted to find a place to have a good time and dance.
I didn't really want her to go.
Right here.
And she just kept begging me, Dad, take me. Then I was saying to myself, like, she on vacation.
And then 2:06 a.m., frantic text messages from Akira's cousin. Please come get us now. Please, they shooting. Akira's parents racing back to the nightclub where they'd dropped their daughter off just hours before.
At this point, it was no rules. I must have did about 190 down the road. I turned a 35-minute ride into about 17 minutes.
Inside the club, chaos. Akira manages to escape, but realizing she's left her cousin Tiara and friend Patience behind, goes back inside. All three girls manage to hide inside a handicapped stall with 15 to 20 others, huddled, nearly stacked on top of one another. The gunman walks in, and she says, in what seemed like a miracle, his gun jammed.
Everybody looked at each other like, we can bum rush him out of here.
She says it was too late, however. The killer uses another gun and opens fire. Kira is shot in the arm, her cousin Tiara in the side, and Patience in both legs. Tiara recounts the moment to NPR.
I never thought that I would have somebody's brain fragments in my fingernails, blood clots and stuff all over the place.
And then at 2:12 a.m., a phone call from Akira to her mom.
About 10 minutes in, and we got the phone call from my daughter. Mommy, please hurry. They're shooting. I'm hit. I'm hit in the arm.
But Akira's parents are still miles away and need to call the police.
She's like, I'm bleeding so bad, Mommy. Please help me. Please help me call the cops, please. And I'm just like, baby, I need the GPS for the phone. I need to call the cops. I need to disconnect with you.
The three girls lie for hours playing dead. A pool of blood surrounds them. They try to be as quiet as possible, using a sort of Morse code of taps and signals to communicate with one another.
That's kind of what we was doing, tapping each other's legs. And we just kept tapping each other.
But Akira was bleeding badly, in need of medical care. Soon, she no longer responds to the Morse code.
I was tapping her and she wasn't responding right back.
Just after 5 a.m., authorities finally punched through the bathroom wall and killed the gunman, dragging the hostages to safety. Akira's parents can do nothing but wait for news. Midday Monday, some 36 hours later, they received word. Akira is dead.
For her to be gone, I just keep seeing her face.
Akira Monet Murray, superstar basketball player, honor student, hero to her friends. She is the youngest victim of this senseless tragedy.
I just can't even imagine that my baby girl, an honor roll student who graduated from high school just last week and on her way to college next month, would be dead today. It's surreal.
playing possum.
R.I.P. Akira.
It's so crazy because they're, you know, he's like, can I go down to CVS with so and so? We're gonna go get some. He just wants to go spend his money that he gets to spend. He wants to go spend his money that he gets to washing dishes or whatever on some candy. And every time it's like, I sit in that chair, and that day, some 14-year-old gets shot at a party, or some 7-year-old drowns or whatever, and it's just, you got to remind yourself that it's going to be okay. Doesn't always happen. It's just one of those things. He's got to live life. Talking about my son.
Yeah.
So let him walk down the street. It's just walk down the street. But it's shit like this. And the kid, the dad's the same. She's just like, she graduated. She about to go to college.
Good kid.
She just wants to go have a good time. She's got her 3 fucking, like the one girl was like, we can bum rush him. Like she's got that girl with her with that mentality. She's going to be fine. And it's just because that night is just the wrong fucking night. And he's, it's fucking terrible, man. He's sitting there and he probably rethinks that over and over and over again, like all the time. Let her go, and it wasn't his fault. It wasn't his fault at all. But how do you tell the dad that it's not his fault? Because to him, it doesn't matter. He said yes.
He's going to live with it for the rest of his life, man.
Fucking asshole, man. The guy, not the dad, obviously.
Yeah, of course.
Shit, man.
These are the things that will change your life completely, and it doesn't matter if you're good, bad, indifferent. It just happens. So this is a police officer from Eatonville that I'm about to play. Similar kind of story. Like I said, I want to give examples of the repercussions of these things that last for years on end, and it's not just per se the victims that got hit right in the club. It's also the emergency responders.
Omar Delgado looks at life through a new lens.
I enjoy it. It's
nice
peaceful.
camera.
Sit.
The former police officer uses photography to keep his mind distracted and to keep a distance from the tragedy running through his memory.
I think the more important part of my day is when I get to edit the photos, because then I sit by myself and I put headphones on and I block out the world.
He's proud of his portraits on display at his home.
This is another one of my daughter. This was a day we were driving in Port Canaveral. I think the reason why I picked up photography was It's something that I can control. What I see in the viewfinder is what I can capture.
The beauty of these images, a stark contrast to what Delgado witnessed in 2016 when his life changed forever.
It's called polls. There's dead people everywhere. They're shooting. My friend told me he got shot 3 times. He's in the bathroom. Needed help. I'm not there. I can't do nothing.
That night was totally different. Orlando's not known for that. Orlando's known for Disney World and the happiest place on earth. And unfortunately, June 12th will always be marked as not that.
Delgado was working for Florida's Eatonville Police Department right outside of Orlando, where the Pulse nightclub massacre occurred. He explains he was the only officer on his team to respond.
That's not accurate.
What?
Pulse is not in Eatonville.
No. He's a Eatonville police. Oh. And he heard the call and drove from Eatonville downtown.
To where it occurred.
Sorry,
yeah. I missed that part. I'm like, yo, that's not right.
Active shooter inside Club Pulse with multiple casualties down. It came over my radio. I heard it, but, the adrenaline of me driving and getting there as fast as I could. I saw a couple OPD officers on the corner. We didn't look at each other. We didn't say what we were going to do. We just ran inside.
4 dead in the bathroom and 2 shot. They're bleeding now. And still in the bathroom, but he's bleeding.
There were a bunch of bodies laying down, and I'm like, it still didn't hit you.
49 people were killed, and more than 50 were hurt in what was, at the time, the deadliest mass shooting in modern U.S. history.
How you doing, Angel?
In the midst of horror,
So Angel's
Delgado
the Angel
helped
guy.
save a life.
Yeah.
I need a big
Angel's the one who took the bullet for the other guy.
I'm glad you're doing good, man.
I'm not sure.
She said his name is Angel.
sisters,
I mean, Angel's a common
It's
name.
Fred.
Never
Yeah,
get a
Latin
hug
night.
from somebody like that. It's ridiculous.
God first, bro.
The hug that they give you, not wanting to let you go.
Yo, with the Run DMC.
And then just them whispering in your ear, thank you for saving our little brother. And I was just doing my job.
But some injuries can't be seen.
I think what affected me the most is being inside there for so long and not being able to do anything else besides pulling some people out. Now, we just have to keep moving forward.
A few months after the shooting, Delgado, who had nearly 10 years of experience as an officer, was back on patrol, only to be let go in December 2017.
I was let go from my department because I was having difficulties trying to get back on the road because of my PTSD that occurred while on duty.
A service dog helps comfort Delgado.
Let's go.
And his photography is therapy.
Good boy. There we go.
A passion project Delgado picked up from his high school days when he was the head photographer of the school yearbook.
I think these last 2 years is probably one of the worst times of my life. Just recently being let go and trying to figure out where your next paycheck is coming from. It's like, how do you do that? I really enjoy night photography. It's challenging.
This image of the Chicago skyline is one of his favorites.
I think that's the most impressive one I've done because I really enjoy that one. It's my hometown, and there's tons of pictures of the Chicago skyline, but that one's mine.
With the second anniversary of the Pulse nightclub shooting approaching, Delgado has a hard time thinking about what happened that night.
The anniversaries, I understand why they do it, and I applaud them, but it's something that, for me, it always takes me back.
He still keeps in touch with some survivors, including Angel. They recently celebrated his birthday together. It's moments like these that help Delgado push forward every day.
It's a challenge sometimes. Heck, it's a challenge getting out of bed. So, if I can complete stage one of getting out of bed, then, everything else is a little more doable.
I think 2 Chainz had a line about that. Seriously.
True.
I think so.
Others in similar situations.
It wasn't until just recently where I got tired of being in bed, and I said to myself, I want to
went down to
continue
the Parkland
helping,
shooting
because I just can't just stop cold turkey. That sense of acknowledgement and that sense of knowing and how you can help pay it forward to somebody else. I think that's important.
Since Pulse, there have been more mass shootings in the U.S., including at a festival in Las Vegas, where nearly 60 people died, and at a high school in Parkland, Florida, where 17 people were killed.
I'm not a big news watcher. I don't watch the news, but I know when an event happens because my phone starts blowing up. People texting me, friends, and say, hey, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah, why? What's going on? And that's when I get told.
Those triggers,
They're
man.
reminders of a day he'd rather edit out of his memory.
Even though I know what I'm going through now, I'd still do it again, because knowing that you helped save a life,
that is a really good camera.
It's a nice camera.
As Delgado creates a new chapter for himself.
It's so unfortunate, you would think like, suck it up, man, you'll be all right. But you don't know how deep those emotional triggers, you know what I mean? Like the anniversary, like he says, you get a text from a friend, and all of a sudden you're right down. It sucks you into that time portal. You're right there in front of the club. You're feeling like, what can I do? I'm a peace officer. I serve and protect, but I can't do nothing. I think, man, what's worse? Like, it's you can't compare it to the father losing the daughter, right? But you can't blame this guy for the way he feels. He was a cop 10 years before that, and it took that situation. You know what I mean?
I would tell you about my dad's or my stepdad's experience overseas. About he went when Desert Storm was a war or whatever. He was in Egypt, and he was doing food inspections for the military, and he said when he came in country, he got to his hotel. Is where he had to stay, and he had like a little liaison or whatever. He had like a guy, an Egyptian guy. So they're walking into the hotel, and when they walk in, the guy asks my dad, he's like, hey, did you see the dude sitting there, the homeless guy sitting there? And he goes like, yeah. He's like, did you give him any money? And he was like, no. He goes, you better walk outside and give him some money. And he was like, why? And he told him how much money to give him or whatever. And he's like, why? He said, well, he's going to watch your car for you. You know what I mean? Because you're American military, so your vehicle is susceptible to bombings.
Wow.
So the guy, he's there all the time. So just give him some money and cool. So he gives him the money, comes back out, and I forgot exactly what happened, but it was something to the effect of he came out one day and the guy wasn't there, right? The guy just wasn't there. He's always there. So my dad, it's like, well, I got to go. I think that's how it went. Turns the key. In the moment of turning the key, the car didn't turn on. It did like the click, click weird shit.
Oh, my God.
Turns out nothing was wrong. It was just the car fucking up. Okay. Whatever, right? But that moment, that like, whatever, fast forward to probably like a few months ago or a year ago or something like that. My parents got this Miata. Miata's like the cheaper one, not the Maserati, right? Miata. It's like a Mazda. It's like a nice Mazda.
Okay.
Like a sporty little nice Mazda.
Like a little 2-seater coupe?
Yeah, yeah.
A little
coupe
one?
joint.
Yeah, okay, the Miata.
So my parents like to go out top down and shit like that, right? So they got this third car. He's in the garage. He jumps in the seat. They hadn't started it for a while. He was like, I got to start this car up. Car clicks, right? Said it goes back to that moment of when he thought he fucking was dead.
Wow.
And he got all like, you know, emotional and all of that shit. And that's that little thing there, bro. He didn't actually get shot at. He didn't actually see a dead body. He didn't actually get blown up.
But it's the same thing.
It's the same thing.
Same thing.
And it's just he took it right back to that moment, and he got sweaty hands. So now imagine motherfuckers who shoot at people for years, tours, or they're blowing people's shit off, and their friends are fucking friends are flying off the wall, or this cop who comes in from Eatonville, like one of the chillest places in Orlando, flies in, and there's bodies strewn across the floor of, like the lady said, blood clots and brain and shit all over the place. And then this guy gets fired because he's having problems getting on the road, bro. Because he's not a sociopath. Because it's harder for him to deal. He didn't play as many video games as a kid that saw. It'll be less of a problem, I think, now.
Nah, man, when I was younger, I would have probably been like, man, this guy could suck it up. But 2 years ago, I lost my grandmother, and I've definitely lost people. You know, when Big Mac died, the shit hit me. Big Mac's a friend of ours, a big DJ out of Orlando, DJ Big Mac. I wish I would have spent more time with him. Like, we were really close, and then we kind of stopped hanging out. And there's so many times where he's like, yo, come over and make music with me. And I didn't take those opportunities. It still didn't affect me like that. Like, I was sad, but it didn't affect me like that. When my friend Revenue, my business partner, the guy I was going to build this big thing in Vegas with, passed away, affected me, right? I was a little depressed, got over it, you know? But when my grandmother passed, because she was kind of like my mom, bro, it affected me for like a good year. I didn't even know where I was getting these emotional triggers. I would just break down and cry. Even right now, I can hold it in a little, but just thinking about it makes me want to break down, bro. And if it wasn't for Ashley, of course my mom, but she was going through her own thing, and Momo, bro, when Cosmo came into my life, and I'm kind of, you know, dude's got an emotional support animal. People be like, what do you need emotional support? You have no idea what that animal, like, he brought me out of my funk. Maybe because I had a new, like, behavior where I had to, like, be there and for him now, you know what I mean? So I can no longer just be focused on my stuff. So, like, he helped me get past that. But it's so true. It just sneaks up on you. There's nothing you can control about it. And these are such a minuscule thing compared to, like, somebody that was in the military or
that
even your dad.
Yeah,
you know?
Like,
it's serving and protecting.
Mayhem,
yeah,
but like some people actually go through that stuff, and it's difficult. And it's the same thing for the stuff we're talking about when it's just a kid living in a bad neighborhood where you can't walk outside the door without, what's the name, YNW Melly. You can't walk outside the door, so that shit changes the way you look at stuff. Our laws are like written and based on the best case scenario people, you know, that have 3 meals a day and parents that love them and no worry about where they're going to live and sleep. And these are what the laws are written for. So there needs to be some sort of like sliding scale of like fucking punishment where someone who hasn't had all the advantages in life, maybe they get a different kind of punishment than a motherfucker who was given everything in life and still decided to fuck it off for doing whatever. I don't know. Like, it seems like Omar Mateen's life, what besides maybe being fed garbage about how people should be killed for the way they kiss people or whatever, but what was his deal? Like, why did he decide to kill everybody?
And not to mention, he had a wife and a kid. Why would you just leave your wife and your kid out? You know, that's where I'm going to segue into the next thing. I think it's important. You know, it's unfortunate. Like, yeah, you want to go and be more sympathetic with the victims and be on the victim side because they're the victims. But, you know, what about his wife? Like, his wife must feel like serious piece of shit right now. You know,
she couldn't have not known nothing.
So that's what I was going to ask you. So obviously there was a court case. They brought her in. They wanted to charge her with terrorist acts. Let's play a little bit.
At the Pulse nightclub in Orlando, officials are now taking a very close look at the gunman's text messages with his wife during the actual shooting. NBC's Stephanie Gosk has the latest on this. Stephanie, good morning.
Good morning, Savannah. Well, the shooting lasted nearly 4 hours, and we are now learning that during that time, in between firing his semi-automatic rifle at innocent clubgoers, Omar Mateen was on his phone, posting on Facebook, calling, and sending text messages, including that exchange with his wife. New images show the quiet horror. Survivors huddled in a bathroom. The shooting at Pulse had only just begun. According to a source close to Omar Mateen's wife, Noor Salman, Salman says she texted her husband just after 2:30 a.m. Where are you? Do you see what's happening? No. I love you, babe. What was happening was the deadliest mass shooting in U.S. history. Authorities say Salman was with Mateen when he bought ammunition days before. According to the source close to Salman, they were at a Walmart, and she was with their 3-year-old boy in the toy department. The owner of a Florida gun store, Lotus Gunworks, says he refused to sell body armor and ammunition to Mateen weeks ago because he was acting strangely. The gun shop owner says he alerted authorities, but law enforcement sources tell NBC News they were not contacted. Meanwhile, Mateen's troubled history continues to surface, including school and employment records. As early as the third
Did we talk about that already?
Teachers were concerned. About the gun shop calling
She
in?
said he did everything he needed to do. I remember us saying that, but did we talk about how the police said that they were never contacted? Is there discrepancy in that fact? What do you think that's about?
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, hindsight is always 20/20 afterwards.
No,
so.
yeah, I'm not judging anybody per se, but I'm just asking, what do you think is true? Do you think he said something to them about not selling him the stuff because he was acting quote unquote weird? Or do you think he didn't send anything? I guess not you. I'm just saying there's that question, right?
It could be a cover up to try to protect himself so he doesn't lose his gun license.
It's a pretty, because if you're alerted to that and you go and question him, do you find out that very active, antsy, constantly moving, verbally abusive, rude, some word, much talk, almost violence, obscenities, hands all over the place, on other children.
Is the 3rd grade.
In his mouth, yes. What is that?
This is 3rd grade. They're doing like a criminal profile. I think that the FBI did do his due diligence and look at everything, and there wasn't any major.
No, what I'm talking about is that specific, like, days before shit. That's the thing I'm asking.
This
about.
happens all the time. You know, with with Nicholas Cruz, they say that there was a post where he says, "I want to grow up and be a school shooter." You know what I mean? But how is police really going to anticipate things like that?
If a kid says he wants to be a school shooter, he shouldn't be able to have guns.
Yeah, but it's not. It's freedom of speech, right?
No.
Yes,
that's the problem. I think that's one of the problems.
Yeah,
we're talking about freedom of speech and somebody saying they want to shoot people as the same thing.
Yeah,
I don't think that's the same thing.
You're allowed to say I want to shoot people.
No. I don't think you should be allowed to shoot people.
That's that gray area,
right? At least you're not allowed to be like, all right, you can say it, but let's put a giant
people. Well, you can't
camera.
threaten people. You
That's
can
threatening
say
people.
It, be like, yeah, I want to shoot people, but you can't be
That's
like,
threatening people.
I'm gonna shoot you. That's a threat.
People, I'm a person, so you threaten everybody in the world when you said you wanted to shoot people. I know that's not what's happening or whatever, but that's what's happening.
Right.
And if not anything, then we need to point this technology and these giant algorithm cameras, or I'm putting words together because there's not algorithm cameras, but they need to be on the motherfucker who typed those words up at least for, a amount of time so that we know he's not at Walmart stocking up. He's not trying to buy fucking whatever. And I'm sure that happened to a certain extent. All I'm saying is, the dude didn't sell him the stuff because it felt weird. And
well, that's why I'm saying if you send
Nicholas
a motherfucker
whatever says I want to shoot people in the school, and somehow still has multiple rifles.
Well, that's why you got to send Nicholas and Omar Mateen to an 18-month to 4-year course, to really evaluate people like this because.
Yeah, but they fail out in my book immediately.
Yeah. They don't get guns. You failed.
Failed, sir.
You failed.
You know why? I don't understand why I failed. Because you want to shoot people.
And we did a background check on you. We did our due diligence that you paid for because you signed up for this course. You want guns. You're going to pay for all this shit.
But that's what I'm saying. He said it. So how do you get...
Because people say shit all the time.
No, man. No.
People say shit all the time.
They do, and they get investigated all the time. I'm just saying, how did he get through?
He slipped through the cracks. There's so many of them.
I'll accept that for sure. It's hard.
I mean, do we blame the wife? She's getting text message. She rode with him. I mean, this is a person that you're living with. You know what I mean?
She couldn't have not known nothing.
She got so apparently she was kind of involved, and then this is the follow-up. She gets acquitted of all the charges.
Jury deliberated for just
you can't just beat the feds. The feds is hard to beat.
No, they don't let you. They don't let you go.
12 hours before acquitting the widow of the Pulse nightclub shooter, Noor Salman was charged with obstruction and providing support to a terrorist organization. She faced life in prison. Manuel Bojorquez covered the trial.
Let them know, Bojorquez.
Left the jail a free woman.
It's a great day for Miss Salmon. She just needs some time to be with her family right now.
She sobbed after the not guilty verdict was read, as did her relatives, including her uncle, Al Salman.
I said that day one, that she is innocent.
The government's attorneys tried to prove Salman knew her husband, Omar Mateen, was planning the June 2016 attack, which killed 49 people. Prosecutors said she was with Mateen when he purchased ammunition and cased possible locations like Disney Springs, and that she told the FBI she knew his intentions. But defense attorneys said those statements were coerced, and there was no audio or videotape of the interrogation.
You knew his
the jury.
Listen, bro, if I'm with my girl, and I'm sure yours is similar, and you buy anything with her, it's not like you're getting interrogated or anything. It's just, oh, what's that for?
Yeah.
I'm buying aluminum foil. It's nothing big. It's just some aluminum foil. Hey, what are you getting that for? Well, I was going to cook some food, blah, blah, blah. It's obvious I'm probably going to cook some food, but it's not. Why are you buying ammunition? I guarantee you that question was asked.
Even if she did know, you think she's guilty of anything? Should you send
that's a hard one. Yeah. I would say just that's a hard one because I think we asked that too. Do you turn on your spouse type shit? I'm not saying she knew he was about to go shoot up 50 people or that he had a bunch of hate in his heart. But you're married to him, so you knew you had a bunch of hate in his heart. Like you knew what if he was praying and how hard he was, if that's even a word, how like fanatical he was about. I'm like, you knew that shit. Now, why are you buying ammunition? I'm going to the range to practice. Okay, I can see her maybe not knowing, but like you knew something. You knew something.
But are you guilty of anything for knowing?
I guess not. She got acquitted or whatever.
But in just life, I that's a hard thing for me to do it too. Like, if you're not doing anything, I mean, it sucks as a person. You didn't prevent something. I'm sure she's got to live with that, unless she's an evil person, you know? And she was about that life too. She's a Muslim extremist wife. I mean, what's his son going to be affected? Imagine growing up and knowing your dad. It's either going to make you hate people like that or maybe go pro that, you know?
I doubt the kid will go pro. He's going to grow up in America. She's clearly not going to have anything to do with this shit. She got off. She's not an idiot. She's not going to go down that road further, even if she is. She might still be a Muslim, which I'm assuming she is, because just because she's a Muslim doesn't mean she's into shooting people up. So she can probably lean into her religion in that way and kind of like bring herself closer to Allah, or it's Allah, right? And bring the kid along. But I doubt that it's going to be in a negative way. Just wouldn't be smart. I mean, that's just the pragmatic person in me. There's no way I get that close to losing my child and then keep going. You know what I mean? She's probably gonna just she'll I assume she'll do the correct thing and tell her kid about, you know, you got to be honest. Daddy had a issue with a lot of people, and he had issues with himself, and he decided to go do something horrible. We had nothing to do with that because we're good people.
Mom, did you know he was going to do it?
Again, you had to have some idea, right?
Yeah.
Like, although the text is, where are you? Maybe he just got up in the middle of the night. They're going to Disney Springs to check it out, is what he's saying. He can keep her in the dark, I guess. I don't know, man. Again, if I'm buying some goddamn aluminum foil, I got to have a reason for it. Not because she's all up in my shit like that. Just because, like, general, like, talking. Yeah.
Well, I want to kind of end this on a lighter note. You know, after this, like, we definitely, you know, me and you respect gay people. We respect people all outright, right? But there's something about after this specific...
Not if they're assholes.
Well, what I'm saying is...
Fuck all that.
There's something about this event that changed the world for a more positive thing, you know?
And that usually happens, too, when tragedy
it's unfortunate.
Breeds.
But I thought it was so beautiful to see the whole world come together. There was like outpours of people in Europe and Australia and just around the world.
I would say it's the first time I've ever came out for it. Like, not anything, but like just made it a point to come out to the vigil at Dr. Phillips.
Yeah.
Took all the kids. I got into an argument with my baby mama about taking my son there because she was like, what if they blah, blah. I was like, no, you can't let people like this win. You got to we got to show our son that despite this type of nonsense that we're not afraid to get together and say, fuck you, hate or whatever. So we went there, we made a bunch of signs. I had the free hugs, whatever. That. And that's like the first time. I mean, there's a lot of shit I probably should be walking for that I don't, as far as like Black Lives Matter or incarcerations or felony voting rights that I just don't, because I'd rather go to Wikiwachi or something. But I made sure I did it for Pulse because that was just an attack on everybody, man. It really was. I do think it was a gay thing.
Yeah.
Personally, but it still was an attack on everybody.
Yeah, I think the rainbow, the gays like hijacked the rainbow. It's theirs forever.
Yeah, man.
It's theirs.
Hijacked these rainbow.
Yeah, we ate all the rainbow. But yeah, I wanted to play this clip because I just thought it was so beautiful to see the world come together.
What about this supervillain guy right here?
In Florida unfolded on Sunday.
Luthor.
Much of the world watched in horror.
Rose Rutenberg.
He has a supervillain name too.
Since 9/11.
It's got a bit of
the
a
Orlando
lift.
attack specifically targeted the gay
a little bit.
In many cities around the world on Monday, there was clear expression of solidarity with the LGBT
Shout out to him
community.
though. It's one of the few bald men who has the balls to shave
Sydney's
too.
famous Opera House and Harbour Bridge were lit up in rainbow colors. Local residents gathered for a vigil and spelled out the word Orlando in candles. In Bangkok, Thai LGBT activists gathered outside of the U.S. Embassy to hold their vigil. The U.S. ambassador joined them and lit a candle. At a vigil in Seoul, South Korea, many found it too difficult to hold back their emotions, while this was the scene in Hong Kong.
South Korea.
Hong Kong.
A silence that spread across the globe to the
France.
Euro 2016 football tournament in Paris.
They don't play around
Down
either.
the street,
They're the hooligans.
Yeah, how you gonna tell me it's not about gay shit?
It's America that has been hit, but it is freedom that has been
You
targeted.
love the gays?
Freedom to choose one's sexual preference.
That's what I'm
Freedom
saying,
to
like-
choose one's way of living.
To say like, oh, we're not sure if it was like, okay, so why is everybody getting involved?
I think it's the government is easier since we're so terrorist like sensitive. It's easier for them to convict as a terrorist act than to try to make it like a
fucking throw up all over the place for the sake of ease. Things are always not done correctly for the sake of
but
ease.
it's hard.
There's
it's hard to
goddamn bridges
prosecute.
falling around Orlando for the case of this fucking case of ease because we're like, do we need to put all that in there, or can we cut costs by doing this? And can we mix it with paper or some shit? You know what I mean? Like, oh god, it's just so much
Paper-mache bridges.
easier. Nah, bro, do shit the right way. It's easier to like do it right the first time.
Well, because of the Patriot Act, it makes it simpler. It's like when they brought the RICO down on the gangsters, they couldn't take out the mob bosses, so they had to come up with like a set of laws called the RICO. Same thing with terrorism. They did the Patriot Act, and now it's just easier to go after people as far as convicting them. You know what I mean? Because then the guy's dead. How could they prove that it was a hate crime? You know what I mean?
Because of where he did it.
Yeah, but there's a lot of hearsay stuff. He literally said on the phone, they got him on 911. Stop bombing ISIS. So it's clear. And it's
part of the ideology of ISIS is anti-gay.
gay.
And
but he didn't go in there and say "fuck the fags" and kill them.
no,
You know what I
but
mean?
he went in there and shot him, and he said it in the most loudest way ever. Fuck the gay people.
He didn't say that though.
Yes, he did. He shot them all and killed them.
Well, yeah, but he didn't.
If I go into a black church and shoot up a black church, it's a black hate crime. If I go into whatever, a Christian assembly of God and kill all of them,
all the synagogues, the Jewish.
but because he didn't specifically say on his phone call, nah, bro, it was a gay crime, a gay crime, a gay hate crime.
Yeah,
it just was because of where he did it and who he killed. Simple as that. That's why it's so weird for it to be complicated to me. It's not complicated.
It's just evidence, man. It's
What evidence? He killed a bunch of gay people and some straight in there in a gay club during a gay night. Let's see what I don't see.
We see it, but in the eyes of the government, they need to prove beyond a reasonable doubt. And he clearly said, "Stop bombing ISIS." You know, whatever Muslim epitaph that he said.
That's historically super anti-gay.
Yeah.
Like, if he went into the Red Hats of Orlando's or the women's who wear the red hat, if he went into one of their conferences at the Doubletree Hotel or whatever and blew all of them away, and he still said the same shit about like to release the ISIS thing,
They would have done the terrorist thing. Just like if Dylan Roof would have went into the black church and said, "I'm part of ISIS," they wouldn't have said it was a racist thing.
yes, they would have. Are you crazy?
I don't think so.
What do you mean? There's a bunch of black people.
Yes, but if he goes in with the slogan of ISIS,
it doesn't matter, bro. It does not matter. Again, if you go back and you look historically what a kid will listen to, it's not going to be what the kid says, it's what he does. It's what he did that makes it the act, the crime.
Yeah.
Him saying the words, "I want to kill gays," or "I want to kill black people," or "I want to kill these people," is not the crime. What he actually did was a crime. And he killed majority gay people in a gay club. It's a hate crime, and the whole world agrees, but not the U.S. government.
But what if, because of our fucked up criminal justice system, they would have tried the hate shit, just like the Trayvon Martin shit, right? And then we get a Zimmerman popping off, you know, where it's like because the justice system didn't go after the manslaughter charge. Yes, we know he killed Trayvon, right? But since he can prove self-defense, it's easier for the prosecution to go with the manslaughter, but they decided not to. We want to go full out with this murder shit.
But it's not the same thing.
What I'm trying to make it
was easier to convict him of what they convicted him of
they
instead
should
of
have
convicted
convicted
him
of manslaughter. they would have got a charge.
No, you're talking about what I'm talking about is Pulse.
Right. They want a charge. And they don't want to look. The government doesn't want to look like they dropped the ball, and maybe they weren't confident enough to get enough evidence for the hate crime.
So ridiculous for this particular situation, this particular shooting.
It's the court system,
bro. There's video. It's not Trayvon Martin where we're hearing scuffles outside.
Gay people.
He shot a bunch of gay people, not by accident. He didn't go to like a mall and it happened to be a bunch of gay people.
Because he didn't come in there and say "fuck gays."
He did.
They're just people. They're not gay.
He did.
He didn't say that.
But he did by shooting them with the loud as possible.
But there's no evidence. There's no evidence.
Dead bodies everywhere.
We need evidence.
Dead bodies everywhere in a gay plug. In a gay club.
Yeah, but there's dead bodies. But there's no
There's no sign that says I hate gays.
And there's no premeditation. So how can you prove that it was a hate crime?
What do you mean there's no premeditation?
By him saying ISIS stop bombing, he's showing premeditation of a terrorist act because he's saying that specifically.
No, he's saying stop killing my brothers is what he's saying.
But it goes with the terrorist ideals. They can prove that because there's other evidence that show, okay, this is what he arrived with. He's Muslim and he said the Muslim shit. If he would have arrived and said, fuck gays, I hate gay people, blah, 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 blah.
But he is.
He is. But they can't prove that.
On top of which he's taking the most aggressive stance on that religion or whatever about hating gays on top of it.
Yeah, but you can just like we were talking at the beginning of the episode, how you could take those biblical words, right, those Muslim words, and decipher them to any way to better,
to better promote. He wanted to do it.
Yeah, but he just never said that. He never came out and said that.
He didn't have to. He shot a bunch of people that were gay. Again,
yeah, that makes perfect sense.
If he goes to a black church, if he goes to a lady wearing red hats thing,
but
he doesn't
prove that in court. You have to have solid evidence. You can't. It's called hearsay.
No. Listen, just because we're labeling it, he still goes to jail. Like just because we're labeling it a hate crime or we're labeling it murder. Or whatever.
Well, no, he could. I mean, he could have.
Obviously, he can't go to jail.
Yeah, but the thing is that if you're not careful, you're going to end up with a Trayvon Martin situation.
But it's an impossibility, though, for this particular case.
I mean, we thought. Did anybody really think that George was going to get off?
This particular case, it's an impossibility. He's not going anywhere.
Right.
So we're just labeling it. This is what the debate is about. Right. What we're going to call it. Why doesn't he's a terror? Like he is a terrorist and it's anti-gay. Like why can't? What is the problem with making it that when it's so obviously that? Because we're not going to lose any like argument versus anybody.
Yeah, I think it's the way the criminal justice system's about.
But what though? Like, there's nobody being prosecuted for
because
anything.
There was
besides maybe
the only evidence it would be is that like it was a gay club. That's the only evidence because he didn't say anything.
That's like the most obvious.
But
thing.
how do you prove
because it's
that
the
he
gay
went
club
there? For the gay club.
How do you prove Dylan Roof went to kill people because they're black? Because of his little post and his thoughts beforehand.
He had racist flags.
Racist flag.
Right.
Yeah.
There wasn't there was no footage of Omar saying I hate gays. There's just an assumption.
Because of and also because of what his dad whatever, but
that's
it's not
still
his.
An assumption.
It's still an assumption because
it's still an assumption.
But that has a lot to do when you're like.
Yeah, but you can't do that in court.
But ISIS does. ISIS says a lot
in real life, yes, but in a court of law, when they're trying to prove, just like that's probably why the wife got away,
right?
Because they were like, "Oh, well, she's not an extremist. She's never said anything extreme. She's never. You can't go on her Facebook where she's like pro-Muslim."
But I'm saying, how are you going to say that Omar Mateen isn't an extremist? He's defending ISIS.
Well, we are saying he's an extremist,
right? So then he's anti-gay.
Yeah, but
all extremists are anti-gay.
Well, that's hypothetical.
No, it's not. That's part of their whole deal.
You don't know that.
What do you mean? I don't know. They're blowing up people because in the name of that, there's
it's not specifically gay though. It's a Western
all
agenda.
Of it. It's all of it.
It's a Western agenda.
It's having
right.
like smoking weed, drinking alcohol, and it's all of it.
It's in there. But you're better off saying all of it than just focusing on the gay shit. That's all I'm saying.
Right. If he had went to Disney Springs then I agree. But he didn't go to Disney Springs. He went
gay-
to the gay club.
Obviously, yes.
So that's why, because a bunch of gay people got killed, that's why it's a gay hate crime.
So you would prefer for them to throw that in there?
Because it's accurate. It's not an assumption. If all of them, not all of them, but the majority of them were gay.
Yeah, but he never said it.
He didn't have to. He shot them all. Like, he doesn't have to say it.
But because okay, so this is a better argument. If he went in and didn't say anything, then there would be a better argument for that. Because there would be more assumptions because he didn't say anything. He didn't leave. He just walked in, killed people. But the minute he got on 911
and pushed
said
extremist
ISIS,
ideals, including...
They got to go with that.
Which includes being anti-gay.
But on top of that, that's just a lettuce in the sandwich.
No, that is the sandwich.
No,
he shot
it's
them
the
because they
lettuce.
was gay.
No, because in the idealism sandwich, right? The whole sandwich is terrorism. Okay, in the terrorism, you have I hate Westerners, I hate gays.
What's the dude's name with the hat?
People.
The dude's name with the hat.
What hat?
The guy that got laid on the ground for 3 hours.
I don't know, but the gay guy.
You know what I'm talking about?
Dead. Yeah.
He said that at a certain point, people were making noise, and they crawled out, and he asked them if they're black.
If they're black.
And he said, I got no problems with the blacks.
Right. Okay. He didn't shoot no gay black people.
He didn't shoot them because he didn't have a problem with the blacks.
Right.
Who do you have a problem with? Am I assuming again?
No.
Who's he have a problem with?
But he could have been there for like the white and Spanish people.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a terrorist thing. I get you.
Yeah.
But in a court of law.
No, he had a problem with gay people.
Yes.
Yeah, that's who he had a problem with.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't got a problem with blacks.
But
you can crawl your ass away.
But initially,
I came here because this is a gay club. That's
And
why
I'm
I
a
shot this
Muslim
motherfucker.
extremist.
And I shot this motherfucker up because I don't like gay people. Like, it's so I don't again. Maybe that's why my ass isn't a cop or whatever.
Right.
Because like I'm just gonna be like, he literally said that to that black dude. I don't got a problem with black people, but I shot up this gay club because.
But if you're in a court of law, and we're just going back and forth,
but we're
forever.
not. Yeah, but we're not in a court of law. Dude's dead.
Right, but for when the FBI goes to make their report, they have to look like they're responsible and they have substantial evidence about stuff. So all they can say is that a Muslim extremist targeted a gay club. They can't say that he was anti-gay or pro whatever.
How in the
he's
world
a
can
Muslim
they not say he's anti-gay if he killed a bunch of gay people?
It's a Muslim extremist.
He's
thing.
definitely not pro-gay. I'll tell you that shit.
Well, I agree because you can tell the evidence, and
I would argue that he's not. He doesn't feel indifferent about gay people either.
Maybe, but the
he
black
doesn't.
thing.
He doesn't He doesn't like gay people.
He likes black people.
He doesn't have a problem with them. At least he feels indifferent about black people.
I wonder how he felt about Spanish people.
I would say he didn't like himself or anybody else in that motherfucker.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he spared the black people.
Because his gun was jammed, bro. I'm just making the point that I don't think he liked anybody. I don't think he cared what color they were. I think, he scouted and did reconnaissance on all areas, and he was going to shoot up the infidels or whatever of alcoholism and sin of the flesh or whatever, and he was going to shoot up the gay people. He didn't go to Disney Springs.
He went to gay night.
He went to gay night. I'm not saying it was only gay people he hated. I'm just saying because he literally went up and shot a bunch of gay people, that's why it was a gay hate crime. Not maybe because he hated gays and that was his main charging. No, it was all of that shit. That's why he went to Disney Springs, because maybe he was served alcohol or whatever.
So let's say he was alive and they needed to charge him with something. Should they go with the gay hate crime first versus the terrorism?
I don't know why any of that ever really matters either. Because I know it's like I can only charge him with this or that or this. But why? If he did all of this shit, why can't it just be
the way the court system
exactly
works?
So
you
it's
need facts.
It's facts.
You need evidence.
He did it.
You need evidence.
That's the evidence. It's done.
Evidence.
If I get a if I get this right here, what's the evidence is that I drank that?
Because when they make laws, they have mandates within that law.
But what is the evidence that I drank the beer?
Well, I'm about to explain it to you.
Okay.
When you go to jail for a hate crime, okay, you have to say something or do something or have a flag or something that represents evidence to prove that crime. That's the way the court
Crime
system
is
works.
opening the beer. How do you prove I opened the beer? Beer's open. It's my beer. It's only been me and you.
Well,
Was it you to open the beer?
Well, they can put fingerprints analysis on that and realize that it was you.
But was it? But we're talking me and you are the world right now, right?
Right.
It wasn't you that bought the beer and opened the beer. Beer's open.
But it's not that cut and dry when it comes to the criminal justice
But it
system.
is in this instance
You
because
have to
he
prove.
killed the people. And there's
Right.
proof that he killed the people.
But then it would just be a murder.
No.
It wouldn't be a hate crime.
They're all gay.
If he showed up there and killed all those people and did not say anything about gay, he's just a murderer. He's not a hate crime.
Muslim extremists are anti-gay.
Yes, but because
That's what he said.
he didn't say that.
He
though.
said you need to stop bombing ISIS.
Right, that's all he said.
Because
He didn't
ISIS
say
are
he didn't go in
Muslim
there and say,
extremists.
I'm a Muslim. I hate gay people. This is why I'm here. If he would have said that,
But he
then
is
it's
a
hate
Muslim.
crime.
He's very obviously a Muslim. There's posts about him being
But
Muslim.
there's gay Muslims.
Yeah. I'm not saying Muslims aren't gay.
Right.
I'm just saying he's a Muslim extremist.
Right.
Because he's demonstrated extreme behavior. Right.
Right.
His father obviously has some of those leanings, whether he's leaning out of him or into him or whatever.
But this happens all the time. There's been several cases where like people, like a person has killed a gay person, but he's only got charged with murder because they couldn't prove that it was a gay situation.
Right.
And so that and there are enhancements. There, for example, there was remember that guy I posted on the Instagram that was saying the N-word on the bridge with the gun and blah blah blah. So initially he got charged with assault with a deadly weapon.
He shot somebody?
He didn't shoot nobody, but he assaulted somebody and he was
Like
in the
hit him,
possession of a
pistol whipped
deadly
him.
weapon, right? Now, the criminal justice system, because of the video, wanted to add some enhancements to the charge and add hate crime because he came in saying the N-word. So now you're going to get assault with a deadly weapon. You're going to get a hate crime enhancement. You're going to get more time. So his attorney came in and tried to argue the hate crime to get that away so it didn't get an enhancement.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's why those hate crime laws exist. They're just enhancements to the original crime.
And then the guy fought. You say he fought somebody, but he beat him up. But it wasn't. They tried to. Oh, he fought a gay dude, and he beat him up or accidentally killed him during the fight. And they tried to make it
Right.
that guy. What happened? He beat him up with his fist.
Right, but they could never prove that it was a gay thing because he didn't come out with the "I hate gays."
Right.
Now, if he was Muslim, would you automatically blame him? For
No,
that?
I wouldn't. Not
Why
automatically.
he's Muslim?
Oh yeah, you're right. Do you want to know why it's different? Because there were 50 people that died. That's pretty fucking extreme, bro.
No, yes,
It's pretty fucking extreme,
But
homie.
he's an
With
extremist.
an automatic rifle.
He's an extremist.
Which are anti-gay. Oh my God. It's not one guy that I accidentally beat him because he stepped on my Puma.
Yeah, but you can't make generalizations.
It's not a generalization. It's the largest until, and if we're not including Native Americans,
is the largest
it's the largest.
gay.
It's largest gay still, but it was the largest mass shooting in the United States, not involving Native Americans again, because it got way worse back then, until Las Vegas. It's pretty fucking extreme. It was a gay club. He shot a bunch of gay people. It wasn't a misunderstanding. He didn't look at the sign and be like, "Oh, I thought it was hip hop night." Nah, bro. All the way fuck that dude. He was a terrorist, and it was a gay hate crime. It's pretty cut and dry to me. I understand why there's an argument against it because there's a legal justice system that's broken.
it.
That's broken.
It's the justice.
I agree.
They have their
But I'm always like, nah, bro. Fuck all that. There's 50 people that died.
I guess when it's that big of a situation,
Bro, we're talking extremist.
Yeah.
How extreme do you need to be?
Yeah.
You know? And
but okay, so at the Las Vegas shooting, what the fuck was he?
sound like he was real sick and sound like there was some bad security because he was going up there with like truckloads of like weaponry.
But what is he? Is he an extremist?
He's obviously a domestic
he married
terrorist.
a Muslim lady.
He's obviously a domestic terrorist.
So he's just a terrorist. Though.
Yeah.
But we don't know his affiliation because he didn't leave what? No evidence.
Nah, he shot up a bunch of people, all walks of life.
But you
it was a country
only
concert.
label him as
a domestic terrorist. If they were all gay, all 71 people were gay. If it was a gay EDM concert, it would be a gay hate crime. If it was a fucking historically black college reunion of all Southern black colleges,
still be a hate crime.
It would be a hate crime, but it would be a race crime. It just would be. I'm not saying it. It's not even for me. It's not ideological. It's just literally what it was. If it was a bunch of kids at a school, then he would have shot up a bunch of kids at the school. It just was what it was. Again, if he shoots up Disney Springs, I don't call it a gay or whatever crime. It was just a terrorist act or whatever, but it was specifically, it just happened. It was, the evidence was that it happened. He was like, there's no evidence that he's a extremist. He shot up a bunch of people, dog. That's extreme as fuck.
Yeah.
It happened. We have the benefit of it being Monday morning quarterbacks because we saw that.
Two hours and 20 minutes, motherfuckers. Well, I'm gonna
take a few steps back.
You
ain't got the answers, man.
This is the last 3 minutes of the video. I wanted to go ahead and play all the victims just to give them a special moment so that we can remember them, because it was a crazy loss in Orlando history and it's affected all of us. R.I.P. to all the 49 fallen people and all the people that were hurt, and families, police officers, firemen.
People still dealing with it too.
Everybody
I know there was more than one police officer and first responder that had some problems. So hopefully they get the help they need.
Yeah, man. So
your sound's off.
Well, he did kill some black people.
Yeah, for sure. I know he there was, I don't want to talk over this, I guess. Dancing, I think, with her son. Yeah. Everybody was so young. I mean, most of these under 40. So sad, man.
They all look like such happy people too. That's another thing that like.
Oh, got the oldest guy. Yeah, man. That's what gay means, right?
Happy.
Happy.
President will travel.
How can you like be mad or unhappy? Like gay is happy.
Doesn't affect you, bro.
I've never really met like an unhappy gay person.
Doesn't
I'm
affect
sure
you.
they go through the thing, but
everybody's.
Most of those people in those pictures were smiling. They just had like a gentle kind of humble.
Everybody's
smile.
got their problems, man. It's just like, it's not your issue. It's always like, why are you worried about who's marrying who and who's doing what to who and wherever they're doing it, to the point where you want to drive down like you know, the West Baptist Church or whatever, those guys came down during that shit to like protest. What kind of fucking dumb shit are you on where you got to like drive in? I won't even drive an hour to like make a complaint about something. These motherfuckers drove from states away to do a protest, and kind of sad.
My opinion. I got my opinion. My opinion is here.
Just shit's crazy.
50 people 49 people just died. The 50th was a fuckboy. But yeah, man, you know, let this just be a lesson learned that there's just always going to be a crazy fuck, and we got to continue like that same spirit of showing up with Kai to that protest. Like, that is the truth, man. You can't let these situations bring us down. You know, we have to find some type of inspiration in these people's lives, and even to try to analyze and find people like Mateen before they happen, and, you know, change their circumstances, change the, you know, maybe we can't fucking change everybody, but damn it, bro, if you see a crazy person like this, fucking try to talk to that person and ask them, like, yo, what's going on, man? Like, what, you know?
I don't know all that. I got a firm don't fuck with crazy people rule, good or bad. I just don't interact with crazy people.
Yeah, but sometimes you gotta meet it, and maybe you can change their mind. I mean, you can't change everybody's mind.
No, you can't. I guess if you do some sort of assessment on danger level, like I guess when I stopped and talked to that protester, I felt like I was by myself and I could maneuver away if I needed to. And, you know, he didn't seem like that much of a threat. So if I seen Mateen, I probably would have left him alone. He seemed kind of like a serious dude.
Yeah, but if you ever get inspired, just like that story where you've seen that man on the side of the road and you're like, you know what, let me pull over. Follow that intuition. You never know how you could enlighten
always go with
somebody.
your gut, for sure.
Yeah.
Go with your gut.
You never know what that can change, and maybe you sparked a change in that man's mind that could have prevented a situation like this. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm such a fucking optimist when it comes to things, and sometimes that's to my detriment, but, you know, just like you got to find positivity somehow and find peace. So this is the longest episode. I think, you know, I'm glad we did it because there's definitely, you know, like it just brought people together. Seeing all those, it was a sad situation, but seeing the world come together was a positive thing.
Yeah, for sure.
And the timing of this episode dropping on the 12th just made it meant to be. So I'm happy to be part of it.
For sure.
Thank you for tuning in.
Thank you guys.
Thanks for being part.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm still Phraydoe Peans.
I'm still Thompson.
Shout out to all the people that have been subscribing, commenting, subscribe.
Yeah, for sure.
It's Fresh Produce Florida Media at Gmail.
It's up there somewhere.
Email us. I think we were respectful for this episode.
No, for sure. More than we were for Trayvon, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't feel weird about it.
From a good place.
I didn't feel weird about anything we said today.
Well, guess what? You remember how Pulse was the first protest you went out? Trayvon was my first protest.
Really?
I've been to other protests, but a murder type of situation. That was my first.
Again, that's probably more of some I should have probably shown up for that I didn't. But
just the effort.
Yeah.
Peace and love, y'all.